Welcome to the Jim Masters Show live worldwide. It's good to see all of you. And how's everybody doing all around the world? Hope you're having a good day today. This is your spot for light, levity, and love, or as we call it, lovity. That's what we do all the time, 7 days a week, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Midnight in Ireland, Scotland, England. Good day to our friends watching in Australia and New Zealand. And wherever you are around the world, we welcome you. 4 p.m. to our friends there on the west coast of the United States and Western Canada. We reach a global audience, which is really amazing. And we continue to grow by leaps and bounds. More viewers watching, more tagging and sharing and enjoying this show, which is really for everyone. It's an equal playing field here at the Jim Masters Show Live. Everybody is a lovity. Everybody is greeted and welcomed here on our series that we've been doing for 19 weeks now, which is amazing considering we do it just about every single night, and we're close to almost, I think it's around 150 episodes or so. I got to start really, when I have a free moment, I'll have to count up all those episodes. It's just extraordinary. And we thank all the guests who have been coming on. We've had some extraordinary people from great celebrity friends from television and film and movies, Broadway, Hollywood, literally from all points of the globe. From music, from food and the arts, health, wellness, science, spirituality, inspiration, life coaching, everything. And that's what's great about the show, because this is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series that's sort of patterned after the old school talk shows where, you know, the art of conversation is brought back and we do something different every night and we have a lot of fun and we're very viewer centric and viewer active. And we have great guests that come through our shows as well. And we love that. And they come from all fields of endeavor and wealths of success and backgrounds. And we love that. And everybody is welcome. And again, I love all the commentary, the feedback. I get tons of messages all day long. We have Facebook posts at Jim Masters TV, YouTube comments. I get Instagram messages, emails. We love it all. And thank you for it. Keep it coming. It means a lot to see it all, and our crew gets to see it. I share it with everybody, and we appreciate it because we're working hard here to build a wonderful community and something very special here on the internet. And as, again, all of you know, I do this work professionally as a professional television or radio personality, host, presenter for a long time on network. Television and radio and national as well as regional and local for TV and radio stations and all kinds of shows and productions and TV, radio host, personality, journalist, MC, you name it, actor, writer, producer, voiceover artist. Whew. A lot of different hats I wear on camera and on air and behind the scenes. I toast all of you wherever you are all around the world. And it's nice to have you here. And you know what we've got in this glass? Something new that we're trying. It's actually pretty good. It's a different flavor. And here it is. They're not a sponsor, though we are getting sponsors for the show. And if anybody's interested in becoming a sponsor on the Jim Masters Show live worldwide as we continue to grow, just shoot us an email at jimmasterstv@gmail.com, jimmasterstv@gmail.com. There's a lot of cool things we're planning for the show as well. But this is Trader Joe's, and this is the sparkling coconut water with yuzu. Sparkling coconut water with yuzu. A friend purchased this for me and said, try it. And I said, okay, and it's really good. It's really good. So no fancy martini in the martini glass, just this coconut water with yuzu from Trader Joe's. It's got an interesting flavor. I think the yuzu is what gives it the yuzu is what gives it the kick. How's everybody doing today? Of course, the cast characters are here. These headphones want to fly off my head today. They're pulling forward for some reason. I guess they don't want to be on. I guess the headphones want me to take a day off, probably. They're getting overused. George Burns is here. George greets you, and George says hello. He's got a cigar. He's got his red hanky. He greets everybody. He's part of our show. It's part of our series. Thanks to the viewers saying keep him on. Jeannie, of course, you know from My Jimmy Jeannie, she's here. See her in there? You got to look quick because she's looking at you. She's blinking. You got to look. Jeannie moves fast. She pops in and she pops out. And of course, Silver is here. We got this in Europe on a television shoot in Switzerland, and he's always at attention. Really cool. You know what I've been watching a lot lately on YouTube? There's these really cool channels. They have one channel that's all pandas climbing in the trees. I mean, then there's another one that's wolves, and another one that's oceans. And there's a lot of these sort of scenic channels and channels with animals just in the wild doing their thing, you know, elephants in Africa. And it's just like a live cam just showing that 24/7. And there's been a ton of that lately. I think since all of this has happened, where we're shut in, sort of, we can't get out to see these types of things. And the really cool channels, there's one that's really cool, and it's all pandas. And just to see the way the pandas are, and you know, they can hang off the branch of a tree with one nail. I mean, that's amazing. Jimmy's here to greet you too. Jimmy says hello. Again, the show is all about light, levity, and love. If this doesn't put a smile on your face, then you might need to go see a doctor, a funny doctor. And yes, from Gilligan's Island, the legendary sitcom TV series, Bob Denver, or better known as Gilligan, is here with love. Aloha Jim from Dream of Denver. Bob Denver's wife, Bob Denver, of course, played Gilligan, and also was in Dobie Gillis, another popular series. How's everybody doing today? We always like to greet our viewers. Now, we can't always get, just an announcement, we can't always get to every single comment because there is a show to be done. Well, we try to get to as many as we can, and a lot of shows don't even show comments or even reference them, but we've always tried to do that to the best of our ability while there's 700 other things going on at the same time. So we try to acknowledge everybody and we greet everybody equally here on the Jim Master Show Live. Christine is here. She's our viewer of the week. She continues to be celebrated as our viewer of the week. She was announced last night, if you were with us, when the wonderful Donna Vivino was here. Brilliant actress and singer, Broadway star. We had such a good time. I loved that show. And she loved it too. She sent a note afterwards, and then she reposted the link. She absolutely loved it. We can't wait to have her back. We had so much fun last night. Good evening, Jim and Lovedies. We're excited to have Daniel Canier here on the show tonight with terrific music and conversation. Absolutely. I was just chatting with him. He is live and direct from London proper, on the west side, and we're excited to have him here. He's in his beautiful studio as well. He's all set up for us. Mary Bishop. Hello, Mary. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. We love when you're here with us. Kathy is here from Cleveland. Hello, Jim, and all the Lovedies from Cleveland. A good friend Kathleen Walker watching in New York City. Nice to see you, Kathleen, as well. Christine Nolan, who was our viewer of the week last week. Hi, Jim and everyone. Happy Wednesday. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Looking forward to an exciting show full of amazing music, great conversation, and of course, our favorite word, Lovedy. Absolutely. And in Wichita, Kansas. Hello, Jim, and all our Lovedies. Nice to see you, Marilyn. Sharon DeMaria, welcome. Always a pleasure when you're with us. Watching in Connecticut, Sharon. Happy Wednesday evening, and everyone. North Carolina, USA represented. Hi, everyone. Ernestine Webb is here from beautiful St. Augustine, Florida. She was also once one of our viewers of the week. Linda Odell is here. Good evening, Mr. Lovedy. Good evening, Lovedies. You like the hat too, right? I know you love the hat when I have it on, Linda. And also from United Kingdom, I knew you'd be here, Avril. She's from Hampshire. Hi, Jim, and all here on the show today. Hope all you Lovedies have enjoyed your day, you as well. So Avril, our guest, is coming to us live and direct. He's a brilliant guitarist, singer, songwriter, Daniel Canier, and he is here live and direct from right around your area. He is from London live. That's right. And he had a little private message when he was letting me know that he was here. He goes, London calling. I love that. Looking handsome, Mr. Lovedy. Absolutely love your hat. Thank you very much. All the Lovedies are saying hello to each other. Live and direct, reporting for duty from South America and beautiful Brazil. Carla is here. Good to be on the show one more night. Hi, Jim and Lovedies. Nice to see you as well. Hello to you, Carla. We love when you are here. Bernie is here as well, the other half of the Oscom team. We have Bernie here. Good to see you, Bernie, and welcome to the show. Love it when you're here. And your better half is here as well, represented. Renee, good to see you as well in Iowa. home of that derecho that you guys went through. Hope you're doing well, Renee. Always nice to see you. And everybody cheers and everybody celebrates. Ching ching. Absolutely. Raising our glass to all of you and hope you guys are doing well. Nice to see all of you. And again, we greet all of you equally and with lots of levity. Anna Phelps, hi Jim. Enjoy every one of your shows. Thank you very much, Anna. We really appreciate that. That's nice of you to say. We work very hard here behind the scenes to create these shows. So much work goes into these shows because we do them every day. And there's a lot of detail and production value involved. So there's a lot going on, but thanks for enjoying them. I really appreciate that. We all do. Francis, hello, Jim and the Lovities. Thank you as well. Gloria is here. Hi, Jim and Lovities from Maryland, beautiful Maryland. Nice to see you as well. Merlin saying congratulations. She's in Inner Kip, Ontario, Canada. Jennifer, I got decorating me Irish gnomes, Bridget's Zen garden for fall. Looks festive. That sounds really cool. And cheers, Jim, and all the Lovities from our viewer of the week, Christine Clifton, and much, much more. So I'm glad you guys are doing well. I'm glad everybody is hanging in there and doing what they need to do to get by. And we appreciate your being with us today. We have an amazing guest. Again, you've probably seen the pictures. You've probably seen some of the promotions that we've done. He's pretty amazing at what he does, and we're so excited to have him here. He's really amazing, and we've got a lot of stuff to show you here. But first, let me tell you about our amazing guest, Daniel Canier. Again, he is live and direct, which is really exciting, from London. He grew up in Leeds, England, moved to London and studied English literature, performing in folk clubs and venues solo from age 14. In 1980, he went to Los Angeles at 19 years old to make a fortune and escape punk and new romantics. A resident at the infamous Blah Blah Cafe, he opened for Al Jarreau and many others as well. Returned to London at age 22, began working in recording studios and learned production and studio engineering by osmosis. Began a career of writing and producing television and film music. And his work featured on all UK networks and big installations for blue chip companies. He worked extensively in Abbey Road and other major studios as well, produced other artists' work, including Bill Drummond of the KLF, who went on to burn £1 million cash. Interesting story. Worked in collaboration with Mike Batt, of course, major writer and producer of so many people, Art Garfunkel and so many others. Wrote and performed weekly topical songs on LBC and BBC Radio and Carlton TV. Had a several million viral internet hit before YouTube on Real Audio. He wrote and performed the children's project, The Happy Prince, with acclaimed illustrator Jane Ray and read by actress Julie Christie. He wrote a musical, EX, performed by various well-known West End luminaries. And he began to also develop a one-person music storytelling show about Jewish immigrant experiences, leading to gigs in theaters and venues in the UK, United States, Australia, and even in Germany as well, which is quite amazing. And in 2005, the very first Edinburgh Fringe show, he'd been there every year since, presenter also of the Manchester Theatre Awards, 5 off-Broadway limited runs at the Soho Playhouse. He became a friar at the Friars Club. Who knew? And currently, many more, contemplative songs now being integrated into synagogue services across the United States as well. He's writing a new show, and he's also wondering about the world, like we all are. Live and direct, my very special guest from London, London proper, London is calling, incomparable Daniel Canier. Daniel, welcome to the show. It is nice to have you with us. We welcome you. And how are you doing there on the other side of the big pond?
Well, I'm doing all right. It's a little bit late for me, because it's past my bedtime. However, for you, I'm staying up, and this is it's just interesting listening to that bio going by. I couldn't have written it better myself, and it's just it's funny because I think sometimes you think, I mean, we all do this. We all think about, all the different things we've done or haven't done. I feel like we haven't got to where we want to get to, and if when you get one of those, you've reached the point. And then you actually count up all the things that you have done, and you think, oh, not so shabby, not so bad actually.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Anyway, so thanks very much for having me on, and thank you, and hello to
All the Lovities. You're now a Lovity. They're going. See, already Linda said it. Daniel, you are a Lovity now. You're part of one of the Lovities.
There's no going back.
There's no going back. No, there's no going back. And it's nice to have you with us as one of the Lovities. You started early. I mentioned, at that early age of 14. Were you always running around the house entertaining? Were you always the kid who really, was sort of out of the box and knew early you wanted to do this kind of work?
Yes, I think that's probably the case. I was a sort of, even before that, I mean, in fact, I used to, probably from about 6 or 7, I used to have a little ukulele, actually, and a little ukulele banjo, like a miniature banjo thing, and I used to sing songs, sort of musical songs on that I'd learned from records, and I remember I used to go and be shown off in old age homes, care homes. They'd drag me in, and there was this kind of novelty item, a sort of little Jewish boy, Shirley Temple. So that's really where it started.
Professor Lesser says, "Hi, Daniel. Professor Lesser is watching on YouTube at Jim Masters TV."
Professor Lesser, the professor that rhymes. In fact,
I was going to say that 5 times fast. Can you, Professor Lesser? Welcome, Professor Lesser. And Brett's channel is here. He smashed the like button and subscribed to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. We love it. Brett's channel is watching, and you got a lot of love here. Linda says, "Welcome, Daniel." Renee says, "Welcome, Daniel." Mary Bishop says, "Welcome, Daniel." And Merlin says, "Welcome, Daniel, to Lovety Hall." Crystal says, "Welcome to the show as well." Right there in your neck of the woods, they're in Hampshire, in the United Kingdom. Yeah. Welcome, Daniel, from Avril. Ernestine in North Carolina, USA. "Hi, Daniel." And Merlin says, "Hello to Linda." His name is Daniel. No, she's saying to Linda Odell. And they're all saying hello to each other. Kathleen welcomes you from New York City. Gloria Randall Bond. That's a great name, isn't it? From Maryland. She says, "Hello, Daniel." Gosh. Linda says, "Hello. You're a Lovety now." So that's confirmed. And Christine says, "Can you handle all this Lovety? It's a lot." Daniel, welcome to the Jim Masters Show live. Cheers. She is in North Carolina. And of course, Professor Daniel says hello as well. And Kathy Short says, "Welcome, Daniel." And Professor Lesser says, "The only one whose surname and day job rhyme." Professor Lesser.
Yes, we're going to have to quickly think about that, see if we can think of if there are any other examples of that possibility. But I must say, I've never felt so welcome, ever, in my whole checkered career. So thank you.
Does that include even on your day of birth?
Yeah, well, you'll have to talk to my mother about that.
You have the Jewish wit there, and you have the Irish wit here. People are going to have a lot of fun tonight. Marsha Lyon says, "Welcome." She's watching on the YouTube channel. Jennifer Barry says, "Hi, Daniel."
Hi, Jennifer.
And hello. Happy for you to be on the show in Lovety Hall. Daniel is now a Lovety. That's perfect. Claps from Ontario, Canada, from Merlin. And Anne in Southern California also says hello. Ann Harriskin is here as well from SoCal. So good stuff, good stuff. And so everybody's here. The professor's here. We've got the professor. All we need is Marianne, and we have Gilligan. So, so we're all set and we're ready to go. Let's talk about those early years again. Your family. Were they performers? Were they entertainers? Were they educators?
No, my father was his sort of day job was that he worked in a bank, and my mother was a medical secretary. But my father was a bit of a performer. He used to go. He played the piano, and he had started off with a little sort of trio that he used to go and play in. But then he also wrote parody songs and had a little review that he toured around. various communities. Sort of amateur review. So yes, there was. Funnily enough, in a way, we always had. I mean, he died earlier this year, actually. But
I'm sorry to
he
hear
was in his
that.
80s.
Yeah.
Well, they do. And but so there was always a bit of professional jealousy. The fact that he wanted to be a professional entertainer, and then I sort of became one, and there was always a bit of a sort of anyway. Towards the end of his, I would say even the past 10, 15 years, he'd come to terms with the fact that he was never going to be one, and he was very, very supportive, and actually became a big part of my one-person show, because he had a cameo appearance in that. In fact, there's quite a lot of material about him in it, which we probably won't get around to in much detail tonight, except that I will say that does feature his affair in a laundrette in the 1960s. So that was the sort of feature of my faux epic Big Finish song, which is in my solo show.
There's something about when you hear somebody that has the British accent to say an affair in a laundrette. It just makes it sound fabulous.
Well, I think possibly at the time he did think it was, and certainly Mary, who was the miner's daughter from the literary miner's daughter from a place called Deneby, Maine, near Doncaster, which is in the north of England.
Yes.
And the Maine standing for main seam, and so for her background, interestingly enough, there was something quite interesting about that, because her background, she's sort of, he walked in there and there she was fluttering her eyelashes, and also her lingerie, washing it, and but she was from this very sort of narrow background where there were just literally two sort of terraces and a pit head, with a wheel and everything. That was where
right.
Very, and from that, and she'd escaped there somehow, because normally they would marry cousins and they'd all go down the mine, or they would become policemen. That was what you did there.
Right.
And my father's family, who were quite religious Jewish family, and in some ways that was also, in a different way, it was sort of middle class, but that was also sort of integrated, and a very kind of narrow world that you didn't generally stray out of too. So although they were very, very different backgrounds, they had that in common, and also possibly they got excited by the possibility of rumpy pumpy, and that's what they did every Sunday morning.
Pumpy. There's another expression, rumpy pumpy.
I'm
all the Americans write this down, and the Canadians, you're writing it down, rumpy pumpy. Even that sounds sweet.
Yeah,
rumpy pumpy.
I think that it was. I'm sure it was all very jolly, except that to some extent, all as actually the man that you mentioned earlier, a man called Bill, who I did some work with. He had an affair. And he said to me, he was Scottish, and he says, let nobody tell you that having an affair is any fun. It's not fun at all. It's very, very stressful. So the point being that whilst they were rumping and pumping, there was probably a certain amount of stress, if not to them, but certainly to the family and to the wife that was at home, and to the husband, and all that kind of
and the
thing.
physicality of it too is exhausting.
Well,
absolutely.
There is, yes. That's probably slightly too much detail than your lovely want to hear about. But use your imagination. Lovities all over the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I like your set too. We've created a nice home studio here. I want to show people the set. Tell us about some of the things that are around you, and take us a little bit through your nice set you have there.
Oh, well, I mean, it's really just a possibility. I mean, basically, this is the kind of background to. Normally, when I do a stage show, I have a big sort of projection. And this is the sort of the home screen, if you might like, and it's lots of family photographs. You won't be able to see the detail there, but every one of them has some significance to some of the stories that I tell. And what I do in the stage show is tell, family stories, and they are, people identify with them universally, but each one is a character, and there are also other quite famous. Significant, because the show has got a kind of Jewish theme to it. There's quite a lot of quite well-known Jewish people on the screen, so that's part of that. And then this is just a little bit of a backdrop and some nice lights. And there's my piano. I mean, although it says guitarist Daniel Canier, sometimes when that caption comes up, and I do play the guitar, and I could get one and I could play it for you. I'm actually sitting at the piano here, so when we hopefully a little bit later, if it's of any interest, I will. play some music for you, like that. Although perhaps for a little bit longer.
That was very
and,
nice.
And that's what I'm doing.
That was
and
very nice.
And if you were to look outside here, you would see a sort of iconic London landmarks. I'm literally underneath the Telecom Tower, which is that sort of cylindrical, slightly phallic building that you see in all your sort of London skyline pictures. So that's just outside.
Very nice. So you've been there all your life?
Well, to start with, I was brought up, actually, my parents' family came from the north of England, from Yorkshire, actually, I think, where your parents
Where
came
the
from.
Masters come from, right?
Yeah, well, I don't think you can say masters anymore. Actually, come to think of it.
Masters.
Or you say masters, but even then, you've been
yeah.
yes, you've been cancelled, Jim.
We are
I
not
think.
changing our last name because
you
it's
not?
Masters. Educators. They were educators
That's
in
what they-
England.
yes, of course they were.
Master, like schoolmaster
The schoolmaster, yeah.
and veterinarian. I know what you mean. Yeah.
So they came from the north, but but my parents got away from there. Actually, it was the city of Bradford, and they got away from there as quickly as they could and got as far as they could, and they settled in London. So that was where I was brought up, sort of a suburb of southwest London, and then they had this sort of rather spectacular divorce, which involved Mary from the laundrette, amongst others, and my mother. Also had some sort of a dalliance, although it's not proven whether it was consummated or not, with a freezer salesman. But anyway, the detail of which we can go into some later, if you like. So
Yes.
then we ended up going back to the north, and that's when I ended up in Leeds, which is actually quite near Bradford. It's about 200 miles north of London, and that's where I've spent from sort of 9 years old to 18 when I came back to London to go to university, and then after that. I left there and went to America for a little bit, and then came back at about age 21. And I've been here sort of ever since, until more recently when I've started a lot more work in the States. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Professor Lesser says you are the chief bad rabbi.
Ah, yes. Well, Larry is familiar with some of my material. I think that might be one of his faves, and that maybe we will get to later, which is it's a song that another true story about another true character who was a cocaine-addicted rabbi, and I have a rather amusing piece about that. I like to think.
Professor likes that my last name is Masters as in master's degree.
Yes.
That's true. I was born with a master's degree. He also loves the keyboard, Yamaha or...
Good. Well, I was a bit concerned that there would be the label of my name that might be covering that up on screen, but apparently it isn't. So there we go.
There it is. Yeah.
There it is. That's our best gag that we've got tonight. So enjoy it.
Yamaha.
Enjoy it. Love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Christine likes how you made the set personal, surrounded with meaningful photos, and the lights are cool as well. Linda has friends in Yorkshire. And you had said if we were interested in some of the things you're offering, absolutely. Merlin in Canada says, yes, we are very interested. So cool stuff,
Great.
cool stuff. So you're really a multi-instrumentalist in a way. You can play a multitude. What other instruments, keyboard, guitar, do you also master?
There's that word again.
Yeah. Everything is always, every golf tournament, every tennis tournament is always the Masters.
I mean, actually, if you
love
wanted
it.
to cancel the culture I mean, there'd be nothing left, would there? Actually, at all? Or there'd be redacted every bit of literature. So
Would be, exactly.
I'm just thinking, does a multi-instrumentalist does two count as multi? Is the point?
Yeah, that's a good. I always
Kind
thought
of does.
Yeah,
I mean, yes, okay. I can play the piano. I can play the keyboard. I can play the banjo. I can play the. In fact, they're off screen at the moment. But I've got a banjo up here. I've got several guitars. I've got a mandolin. I've got they're even off this screen. So yes, I'm a multi-instrumentalist, and of course, since as in my now a relatively longish life, I've watched where you're able to, where it used to be that you needed to produce music with all sorts of different kinds of instrumentation. You needed a studio and you needed lots of musicians to come in and do all that
right.
stuff. But since the technology has developed that actually you can make great approximation of these things just with your computer these days. Just with a laptop, in fact, you can make a record.
You can really do that. What kind of music do you really like to listen to, or what do you favor?
My own. No, sorry, that sounded. It came over. I said that too quickly, didn't I?
Not in the slightest bit.
I suppose
We found you are multi-instrumentalist because Professor Lesser says
Yes.
you could sing. That's a third instrument.
Okay.
So there you go.
I see why he's a professor.
That's why he's the professor.
That's right. It's lucky he's here, isn't it? Otherwise,
Yes.
we would be floundering
He's
around.
keeping everybody in check.
Yeah, we in our ignorance and our blissful ignorance, we wouldn't know any better. So that's great. Thank you, Professor.
So he's mentioning the kind of music you like, of course, which is yours.
Yes,
And then
and then that's it. No, I suppose as I always warmed originally to singer-songwriters, American singer-songwriters mostly, but then mixed with sort of music hall and musical theatre and things like that. I'm not a great aficionado of it, but all these different influences, more sort of music hall in a funny kind of way.
Right.
So those are the things that I still quite like to listen to. Like quite a broad mix of things. What's this? Duke Ellington said 2 kinds of music, good and bad. So I like all the good stuff.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's possible that I think that some of it is bad when it might not be. This is the problem, I think, when we have an opinion about anything, is that other people have different opinions. Mm-hmm. So I'm prepared to be persuaded. So I listen to lots of different stuff, and it all sort of filters in there and influences. But essentially, I suppose I'm a kind of old-fashioned singer-songwriter at heart. And those are the kinds of things. So it was very influenced by those, great songwriters like Paul Simon and Randy Newman and that sort of crowd. And Noel Coward,
How about in England? The Beatles or any.
How about them? Yes, of course, all them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I did meet Paul McCartney once. And,
did you?
It was in a gentleman's bathroom. That's not what it sounds like.
It's not a gentleman's. Wait.
Well, it was actually. It was in the loo at a little art gallery, and I sort of
Not a laundrette.
not a laundrette, and there was no rumpy pumpy. I can tell you that. But it was like, you're there, and then suddenly it's like, oh, hang on a minute, who's standing next to me? Paul McCartney. And so there
Did you actually say, hang on a minute?
Well, and did he actually hang on a minute?
I would have just said, good to see you. You're looking great.
That's right.
You haven't changed.
Well, and also, one's got to be very careful how to avert one's gaze, Whereas, of course, you are,
Yes.
you are sort of kind of mildly interested to see.
So you're in the bathroom, and what happened?
The usual kind of thing.
It all went downhill from there.
It did. I think we should move swiftly on from this anecdote. Actually.
When are we going on the road together? This is funny. Bringing it to a different level, Merlin asks, what about Leonard Cohen?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Leonard Cohen. But I've never been in a bathroom with Leonard Cohen. It must be.
Well, you know.
The great. Eventually, we will be in the.
One of the great losses of your life, right?
That's true, but we will meet in the great men's room in the sky. Yeah.
Yes, they're loving it. Actually, this Loverty crowd, they love it. According to Professor Lesser, it was a stream of consciousness.
Yeah,
he's on fire tonight. He loosened his tie and he's on fire tonight. Yeah. That is something.
Actually, he's probably got a little, a swirling bow tie, the one that sort of thing that goes round and round. That would be a spinning. Oh,
that is funny. Yeah. So we were talking about the progression of your career at that young age. Tell us about some of the things that were wonderful opportunities that came your way, and was it predominantly the music? Were you honing your singing skills, songwriting, musicianship? I mean, obviously, you've got a comedic element in there too. Tell us about how you developed and honed all of these skills collectively.
Well, it was so. Yeah, I've always been able sort of to do that and wanted to do that. I mean, there's all sorts of uh, influences and traumatic events that I'm just reading this.
Her side hurts from
I
laughing. Yeah.
I shouldn't have stopped. I should have carried on.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. But wait, there's more.
but wait, there is. You not only do you get one of those, you get one of these, and one of these is the extra added free gift. Is a little bit of just info, but this is I got myself to college, and but I really wasn't. I just wanted to be a singer-songwriter. That's what I do. That's what I
Right.
wanted to do. And I thought, I had a brother, an older brother, who went on to be extremely successful. He became, not in America, unfortunately, but across the rest of the world, the English-speaking world. He went on to become probably the most well-known astrologer. The star sign guy. But at that point, he was running a sort of failing alfalfa sprout business, and he was miserable with that, and I was miserable with being at college, and I just wanted to go and be a star. So he became my manager, and we both escaped the United Kingdom, and also that it wasn't the ideal environment for singer-songwriters. So we went and we got a plane ticket, and we got on the plane and arrived in Los Angeles, the home of the singer-songwriters. Of course,
Yeah.
and all that
I'm
stuff.
still stuck on how the alfalfa sprout business failed. How does an alfalfa sprout business fail?
Have you never smelt a rotting alfalfa sprout, Jim? The professor can probably give us the chemical formula for this, but basically, my brother. Oliver Sholem, because he's also no longer with us.
But he's watching.
Always, and he had the gift. He had the gift of the gab. That was his thing, and he could sell ice to Eskimos. Can't say
None of that
Eskimos
was
anymore.
passed to you. I'm not so sure.
Well, that's a different thing. But he was so basically he'd been to America previously, and he'd been to California, and he would and he's seen alfalfa sprouts on sale in some health food shop in Venice Beach, and he says, I see an opportunity here. I see a gap in the market. We don't have these in England. Now, in those days, we were a little bit behind the sort of esoteric New Age eating habits, particularly of the West Coast. And, we hadn't even heard of avocados. And so he thought, I will introduce the alfalfa sprout to the United Kingdom single-handedly. Not just in the United Kingdom, but in the North, which is an even harder a remarkable effort that he made, but he did manage to get these things into. We grew them in my mum's garage, actually. Sorry, garage. That's it. And in these great big vats. And I do this in the holidays from being I'd help him when I was at university, and but he got them into every single supermarket, and he says these things are great, and they said really okay, well we'll take some off you, we'll take all these packets of stuff off you. So we were growing them, but of course, unfortunately, they didn't sell. But we had ramped up production, so they got to this point where at the end of each week, we had tons of rotting alfalfa sprouts, which we had to get rid of. And my job was to sort of shovel them onto the back of a sort of little flatbed truck that we had. It was a Toyota Hiace with no reverse gear, and take it and then shovel them off again down at the local municipal dump. And you've never, I mean, it was rich, Jim. I can
That
tell you.
was.
It was you have to do it like it actually. The COVID masks would have been very useful at that point, but it was just awful. Anyway, so that was that, and he had run up a little bit of debt doing this, and I had also it was time for me to escape as well. My heart was broken as well. There's always a some kind of romantic motivation for all my behaviour, and so off we went to California. To make our fortune. He was my manager. This is documented, actually. I have written quite a funny song about all this, which is on one of my albums. So that's what we did, and so we started. We arrived there. It was really quite interesting. It was just got off the plane, and there are certain places when you. This is 1980, and so almost at that point, anything that wasn't kind of nailed down in America,
Right.
it was almost as if the country was just tilted a tiny bit, like a tiny degree, and everything that's not nailed down would just fall into to the west. And land there, everybody trying to make their fortune, and sort of being filled with, do you know the way to San Jose and all that stuff. So there we were, and
Now it's falling off the east and the west
Yes,
into the
now-
ocean.
well, it's a whole new world.
It's a whole new world.
Is it not?
Sounds like a good title for a song.
Yes, if only. So there we were, and there were certain things that as an aspiring young singer-songwriter, who was 19, that you went to certain places to go and audition and do your thing.
Right.
A little bit like actors and something do. Well, for the
Exactly.
songwriters, there were certain places, and one of them was you'd go and you'd audition at this place called the Blah Blah Cafe. Another was you'd go and you would go and do this talent competition. It was a kind of country club called the Palomino out in the valley. We didn't know any of this stuff. We just got this up by word of mouth, and so off we went doing all these things. And I started to do quite well, and I won the talent competition at the Palomino, which was very exciting. It was a whole $100, and then I went to the Blah Blah, did my little audition on Sunday, and the manager there says, "This is, I mean, it's just, I feel weird. It's a kind of bit of trumpet blowing, but I was in awe of the idea. Here I was off the boat playing my little guitar, and then I was being noticed. But my whole career, as you will possibly, if we have time to go into every
Sure.
aspects of it in this amount of detail, and try and keep it interesting, has been sort of one of nearly but not quite. This is
So
the thing.
far,
It's
it
like-
was really good. Just a little blah blah.
That's right, and a little blah blah. So I got this gig there, being a resident there, and playing and learning the craft and everything. And yes, and I had my shtick was that I could do these kind of quite moving songs, ballads, and what have you, but also throw in a bit of sort of music hall comedy as well. And so it was all looking pretty good. And even I was scouted for the the Johnny Carson show and all sorts of
Really?
but for some reason, just didn't quite happen. So close but no cigar. And so I ended up going. Also following back to the UK, a love interest. I ended back up in London again, and started the career. I started my, still pursuing the same career in London, and got lots of little breaks. I'm trying to make it really sound fascinating, but essentially that's why I started working in studios and started getting gigs.
So far, so good, according to Professor Lesson.
Yeah, I was playing. I had friends that were making contemporaries that were starting to make TV programs and this and the other. And they said,
That's
"Would you do
cool.
the
So,
music
as
for
far
it?"
as the film and the TV programs, were you making production music or themes to shows? Or
all of that stuff. Yeah,
that's exciting work. Coming from a television background myself, that's exciting work.
Well, it's and also quite high stress because you don't get the job to what you're doing until the last minute.
Right.
And simultaneously to that, so that was starting to happen, but also my dear brother departed, Oliver Sholem. He also came home, but he had also had an idea and a vision whilst he was out there that was, standing on the shoulders of the alfalfa sprout failure. He also found this book about astrology, and that gave him the idea. So maybe I could make a living out of that, and that was something that actually paid off, and he did become his career in parallel to mine. We were always almost like twin brothers actually.
Mm-hmm.
So he was rising through that area and starting then to work in national newspapers and what have you, and I was doing the stuff, the music as well, and the jobs got bigger and the stuff that I did got better, and then other sort of things sort of happened. Now, I sent you a little bio, but I can't remember what was in it. What did I do next, Jim?
You don't remember what you did next?
No, I'm asking you. You've got it written down in front of you. What did I do next?
You went to the laundrette to pick up your laundry because you were so busy.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Well,
Well, you had mentioned 1980 in LA. You took
yeah.
care of that and worked extensively in Abbey Road, other
Oh,
major
yeah.
studios.
Yeah, that's right. I did all
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about where you wrote and performed weekly topical songs in LBC, BBC
Oh,
Radio, Carlton
that's
TV.
so I did. Yeah. That was this point. That was
Then the
I
Happy
wrote.
Prince, the children's
Oh
project.
yeah. Oh, I'll get to that. It's just the song that became this big internet hit before there was the
And he will be doing music. Some are asking, are you going to sing and play? Yes, he will be.
well, I could
Absolutely.
illustrate some of these with. I can illustrate some of this with that. But I wrote this song about the Clinton affair. You remember that you used to have another scandalous president, and so I wrote a piece about that. It was actually called "The President and His Knob," and I made a little recording of it. And for some reason, it got picked up, and it went viral.
The President and his knob.
Yeah, it did.
That wasn't recorded by the Doors?
Now that's a reference to I know who the. Oh, I see what you did there. That's why you are the.
You weren't delayed. It's a Wi-Fi delay. Always blame it on the computer.
That's right. No, I'm there. I'm there now. Yes, that's right. I can see why you are you are very experienced and very smart professional broadcaster, Jim. That's right.
Put that in writing and address that management.
So anyway, it was just a thing. But then, and you couldn't put a credit on it. It just went out, and then I could see there was a counter on it. It was going up, and it was going like 10,000, 20,000, and so and it became, I think, to about 2 million in the end, but no credit and nothing really. But it got me a gig on the radio, doing. Somebody said, "Cool, well, come along, and maybe you could do a regular slot writing a song about news events." So that's what I did. That was too rude to do, The President and His Knob. Actually, I did a different version. My first sort of debut on the radio was one called. I turned it into it. Oh, hang on, I can play a little bit of it if I remember how it goes. It went. It's another busy day in the Oval Room. It's maybe 2:00 in the afternoon. I can't remember anymore. Anyway, so it goes on to tell you what's going on. And Professor Lesser has got a joke coming in there. Anyway, that was the sort of thing that I would do, and I do a song every week.
How did they do that? Everybody wants to know on this side of that ocean, how do the British, how are you, and I think Australians too, how do you lose the accent and you can almost sound like you grew up in, LA or New York or Boston or Nashville? It's like when you sing, the accent completely disappears, which is extraordinary.
Not entirely, but yes, I think there's a kind of. It's just because it's the instrument of the voice.
Yes,
really. Because you said that you're inside this a kind of noise that has more fluidity. As like the Beatles, and you smooth the curves out. Basically, is what you do. Because you want it to be fluid. And actually, if you sing, otherwise you could sound like Rex Harrison.
Yeah, right.
Or Noel Coward, or and that is that's a different way of doing it, but it's very precise. It's very British. It's very all that stuff. So
because there's so many British acts and artists that a lot of people thought were from America first, and then when they did the research, like you grew up in Liverpool or grew up here, there, and within the UK. And it's amazing when they sing, it's gone. When they speak, there it is. So that is, would you say that there's a lot of extra conscious work going on to do the curving as you're singing, or is it just unconscious?
No, it's. I mean, that's an interesting thing to talk about. Actually, is what happens when you are playing and performing. And
I've always found it fascinating. Yeah.
I mean, even to take the playing and performing out of it, the being, the existing, the just doing what you do and speaking and in a nanosecond what's going on, the processes that are happening in your the synapses that kick it off in order for you to speak. And to actually have a sentence. How does that happen? How does a sentence happen without even really thinking about it? So then you've got, and all the things that are happening inside, the breathing, the blood to the systems, the metabolism, all that stuff is happening, instinctively.
Unless you're posting on Twitter and they don't take any time for any of that to happen. They just speak and post.
Well, yes, and some of it, but of course some of it is, and a lot of it is rubbish and a lot of it isn't. So what is
Hillary's in the house.
So apparently, yes.
Welcome, Hillary Rollins. We love having her here. She was on the show too as a guest. And says Canier's in the house.
Yes, that's confusing, isn't it? So, but anyway, my train of thought was that so when you're doing that, you're thinking, you've got a song going, you've got how to sing it, you've got piano playing happening, you've got the whole other thing you're working in an audience, you're looking out, you're looking at that person, what do they think of it, you're looking at that one, if you can see them, you're focusing on the people that are looking miserable, and you're going, oh my goodness me, they don't like me, rather than focusing on the ones that are, and all. So there's all these narratives happening at the time, the playing, the thinking, what's happening next, what's my next song going to be, how am I going to change it, all that stuff, all happening at the same time. So the slurring of the singing is a minor part of it, So, so I'm glad you asked me that.
Yeah, well, it's terrific. Yeah, because I've always just been so amazed how, they can sing, and it sounds like, they grew up here in America or Canada or what have you. And then the minute there's an interview, the accent just pops right back so beautifully. Like, for example, when somebody comes over to England or wherever from America, they don't necessarily change in order to sing. And then if you interview them later, the way they sang in terms of the speaking, the articulation, the inflection, just the tonality, all of it is exactly the same as basically the speaking they're going to be doing in an interview or a conversation. Found it fascinating.
Yeah. Or you end up, and a lot of people do, is that they end up with this kind of mid-Atlantic accent, which is neither one nor the other.
Yes.
But right. I've got a bit, as some people might even be able to hear, but I've got a little bit of northern in there. I heard it myself just now when I said other. And then, and sometimes because I have spent a lot of time in America, I will accidentally do an American pronunciation. I might say schedule, for example, and that would not be right now, would it, Jim?
Now, does that hurt your tongue when you say it?
It hurts. It hurts
everything.
My whole patriotic self. Yes. But where were we?
Wherever we want to be. I just want you to know we care about our guests. You've been upgraded to multi-instrumentalist singer-songwriter. We're quick. We are quick.
That is very good. It's a mouthful, isn't it?
It's all right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it just occurred to me, and far be it from me to suggest where this might go, but I just wondered, I could actually, whether it might, the Lovities might be interested in actually hearing one of these topical songs that you see on radio all the way through.
Give us a little bit of an intro and what it is. And
yeah, so this was one that I did, and the news story. So I do something about the news story of the week, whatever it might be, and a lot of them were so time specific that I couldn't really do them now without spending an hour telling you all the little bits of current affairs.
Before you do it, is there a collection of them anywhere where we can hear what you've already done? Because I'm sure they're probably amazing. And anything saved anywhere?
Well, no, I have a couple, two albums that I made.
Oh, okay.
They're not available for sale, but
they're not on Amazon or anything, or
no, but they could be on the Amazon. The remainder, eBay.
not the jungle Amazon. I mean the online Amazon.
We have that here too. Yeah.
eBay. Okay.
But actually, you remind me that I should put those up and make those available, which I will do.
We're always looking out for our guests.
So thank you. You are. I don't know how I've managed without you. Actually, this is fantastic.
Host with the most.
So this particular one, though, is one that actually had a life outside that environment, and the story that I worked from is actually this one. I might actually even be able to just show it on the screen next to me. It should come up Now there it is, and it was this story here, and it was about this little girl that was born with a heart that was too big for her, and so they gave her a heart transplant, and they took her own heart and put it on ice somewhere, and then when she grew to be 10, they took out the transplanted one and put her own one back in, because she'd grown into it. It was an amazing miracle story, and well, but I could have written about that, but it just gave me an idea for a title. Really, is what it did. So I'm going to sing a song that was inspired by that, but it has actually nothing to do with it. It's called "If I Had Two Hearts." If I had two hearts, what would I do? I'd keep one for myself and give the other to you. And if that should happen to break in two, then I'd have a spare while that was repaired. That would be good, yes it would it not? But one heart is all that I've got. If I had two heads, you would be scared. You'd run like the wind away. But inside my head is another head that no one could see, contradicting me. And it's hard to get anything done, my son. Which head said two heads were better than one? Which of my two eyes sees the incontrovertible truth? Which of my two ears tunes in and hears crystal clear ring of truth? If I had two lives at the same time, I'd do things a different way. I'd go down the path that I'm frightened to take, 'cause I could always go back to the life that I used to have. That would be good, yes it would it not? But one life is all that I've got. One life, one heart. Better make the most of it, grab it while it's hot. One life is all that I've got. One life is all that I've got.
Positively and absolutely beautiful. Just as Linda says in Florida, Carla in Brazil, loving it. Avril there in United Kingdom, nice one, Daniel. Christopher says, great song with such deep meaning, absolutely, and sincere meaning. Absolutely beautiful. Ruth Reedy says, nice, she's watching on YouTube, very beautiful, from Crystal. And sometimes the comments move so fast we can't even keep up with them. Magical, Jennifer Barry, very nice vocals and piano as well, from Christopher Joseph in Ohio, USA, Merlin in Canada. Wow, that's awesome. Really beautiful comments. Tell us again a little bit more about that song. That's a very beautiful, beautiful song. And you play it with a lot of soul and a real heart.
Well, yeah, and that's why it sort of that's why it's has a life outside of that the sort of narrow context of but the interesting thing about doing those things and the discipline of a song a week, and I I would try and do these things. I mean, a lot of them were more sort of semi comedic. So there was one, for example, about the supermarkets making excess profits, and that one was more like, why does a tin of baked beans cost more in Bagshot than in Birmingham? And as regards those loyalty cards, I've so many now I feel like burning them. They still take our wages twice as fast as we are earning them. They open while we sleep, playing the game of supermarket sweep, that sort of thing. So, as you said, there's
Love that too, yeah.
different feel to it. But that one, I don't know. I just knew was special when I did it. But done very quickly. That's the point. I try and start them earlier in the week. And I think, well, what would be the news story that was going to be? Because I used to do this on a Friday morning breakfast show. And I couldn't do it. So I'd end up on Thursday night, it was stay up all night going, and
sleepless night,
completely working on this thing, but relatively quick for writing this kind of material and the detail, because I don't do parody. A lot of people do parody songs, and some are brilliant at it. Randy Rainbow, probably one of the greatest parodyists we have at the moment, and but I don't do that. So, and then when you do parody, a lot of the work is done for you because the tune's there, and all you have to do, and whichever tune that you choose to parodise, if that's right, check with the professor, is that also
Strangers in Paradise
that's communicating something as well. So there's lots of other work happening in those choices. Well, I, like an idiot, I start from scratch. No ready meals for me. I'm making them from the raw ingredients because I'm a fool. And so that's
with the alfalfa sprouts.
And yes, and also because I didn't know really. I just don't know how to do it any other way. So I'd be frantically up all night, and I'd rush into the studio. And in those days, I'd put it onto a cassette. Record it onto a cassette and actually have you playing it over and over as I drove down to the broadcast studio, to the radio station, and once I was so late that I actually literally just pulled the car up outside and, ran into reception, left the door open, threw the keys at them and said, you move it, because, it's like in the centre of town, you do it, and you ran in, holding my keyboard, which I had to take into the studio, down the lift into the basement. They're, of course, doing the news and the whatever they do, the two presenters. And, and then, right, and now Daniel Cain is here with his latest song, and I go, and plug it all in and do the thing. They've no idea the stress. It's like the beginning of that film Broadcast News. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
All that thing, and the tape goes in, and it's on air, and it's done. But it was like, absolutely. So it killed me doing that every week. But it did keep my blades very sharp, and so
right.
And I learned a lot of. And the other thing that you learn is the kind of miracle of it, is that you struggle, and then suddenly, the closer to the deadline that you get, something magical happens. I don't know whether it's about adrenaline, so whether it's chemical or whether it's divine intervention, but it always came together.
Probably a combination of all of the above.
Yeah, and there you have it. And then you had this thing, and you were on air doing it. Doing TV was more difficult because you couldn't, the radio station, you can have the words in front of you, and you can do that way. TV, well, you've got to look presentable.
You've got to put pants on.
Yeah. Unlike this evening, when neither of us have to do that.
No.
In fact, I don't know if any. And of course, it's not Zoom, so everybody all the levities probably aren't wearing anything at all.
Not that they haven't asked.
So anyway, that was a sort of a bit of an insight into doing that every week, and eventually I sort of stopped. But I do go back on air and do stuff, when I want to. But it's just like too much like hard work sometimes.
I want to show some cool shots we have here over the years. This shot here, tell us about this. It's a very happy-go-lucky. You almost look like you live in Dublin there.
Yeah, well, that'll be the Guinness is out of shot there, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is from Edinburgh. It's one of my Edinburgh shows. It was a photo shoot for that. But actually, yeah, and that's where this background first came from, because there it is, the one that's you can't see me pointing at it, but next time you cut back to me, you'll see that's the same background that's on the screen next to me. So that was the for Edinburgh show. I think it was the one that was called 21st Century Jew, actually. I've had many Edinburgh shows.
What is a 21st century Jew? How do you
yeah,
describe
yeah.
that?
You're looking at him, baby. That's
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we move. Now, am I mocking the Irish in you? Am I going top of the morning, Blarney?
You did say the Guinness was not clear in the picture.
Actually, you're right.
That's because the glasses were empty.
Yeah. So this is sort of connected in with the. Oh yeah, that was gefilte fish and chips. That one.
Yeah, tell us about that. Yeah.
Well, it's the same.
Same
It's,
thing.
they're all different names for the same, pretty much the same concept, which is. I got this. I mean, we're skipping over a number of, obviously, huge major career incidents. But when I got the calling to go Jewish, and that really happened around about the time I got divorced. And
You mean when you were born, you weren't born Jewish?
I was born Jewish, and then I drifted away from it. Really, it didn't have much to do with it. I was born with quite an Orthodox family, as described earlier on, actually, because that's from my father's side. My mother's side were not so religious, but my father's side was. But then I had nothing to do with it after my bar mitzvah for years and years, and my wife was not Jewish, children therefore not Jewish, and all those things. Although that's been redefined more recently, but that's a can of worms that we don't need to get into right now. So I lived a secular life, wasn't interested. But for some reason, after my divorce, and I started having a little bit of therapy, and then it did turn out that the therapist that happened to randomly, coincidentally go and see specialised in lapsed Jews, and he was not Jewish, probably the only non-Jewish therapist in the world.
Yes.
And he said, you might want to start looking at this and how that background has informed the way you are. Well, that was one thing, and then the other thing is I had a bit of a epiphany, and I got a message from beyond, which was from some. I mean, this is the woo-woo part of it, but I had this vision of an old rabbi who came and wagging his finger at me and said, "You must start writing Jewish music. You write Jewish music," and I didn't know what he meant. And then this stuff started tumbling out, and I wrote a whole show around it and took it to Edinburgh, and have been in Edinburgh for 15 years running doing this kind of Jewish show. It's a different...
What was the name of the show?
The first one was called Jewish Chronicles. Now, it was called Jewish Chronicles because it was a play on the Jewish newspaper here in the UK, which is called The Jewish Chronicle. There it is. Look, this you've been working hard, haven't you? Look at that. And there I am. Actually, that picture was taken in one of the oldest synagogues in London, in the East End. That's another story. So, Jewish Chronicles.
Everything seems to be another story.
Yeah, well, that's what I do.
There's no period on any of the sentences.
So, but that's
you're saying you're going to want to come back for part 2, right? Because we'll have sentences that need to be finished.
Yeah, but what we'll do in part 2 is we won't do any of the first halves of the sentences.
That's right. Fact, we'll just do the half parts.
We'll do the half parts. And,
would that be a half-assed broadcast?
Yeah. Well, I was going to make a gag there. I'm going to leave that alone. And I'm going to go with... So Jewish Chronicles is really a collection of songs, family stories about, my close relations, about ancestors, about immigration, about all these things, and also about my own relationship growing with what it means to be Jewish in the 21st century. So I did another one called 21st Century Jew, which is pretty much the same. It's me sitting at the piano, but different songs and different stories about different things. And so the 21st Century Jew was okay, I wonder if I got a bit of that. I can't. It's years since I've done it. 21st century Jew, you don't do what it says in the Torah. And I can't remember anymore, but that was so. Each one had a little song like that. So if
that was good. I would love to have heard more.
No way, no how, don't you? Can't I? 21st century Jew. It just lets me show.
Just even hearing the piano prowess is really nice. You're very good on it.
Well,
the
thank
keyboard.
you very much.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was all these different songs, and so you only get an hour show in Edinburgh, just like you only get an hour show with the Jim Masters, and so you can't fit everything.
If that's what you've heard, you've been incorrect.
Oh, hang on a minute! You're like Bruce Springsteen.
We're still just doing the introduction.
Springsteen he did this big gig in. In fact, I remember going to see Bruce Springsteen. There's another story about
another story that will be finished. He'll leave that alone too.
It was at the Meadowlands Arena.
He's not touching anything tonight.
No, I mean I can do it. I can tell you the story, but I mean, how long have you got? Well, that's what we're talking about. The point is that
now you sound like a doctor. How long do I have?
Yeah. Do you want the good news, Jim, or do you want the bad news? Is the point. It goes on forever. Bruce Springsteen and I noticed that when I went to see him all those years ago, but he was here in Hyde Park doing one of those gigs, and they had to pull the plug on him. Literally, they turned the electricity off because he needed to stop because it was contravening it was an outdoor gig. It was contravening the bylaws and regulations.
Rain started. Everybody had to scramble.
Yeah, something like that. Rain stopped play. Well, night stopped play. Too much Springsteen stopped play. But literally because the power was turned off. So there they was doing it. Born to nothing.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So and the same thing might happen to us if we're not careful.
Yeah. So this is cool. A shot. Is that a blow up of the screen next to you?
I can't. That's another
with the family photos and
that is. In fact, funnily enough, the photo next to me there, on looking at it, I'm looking at the same view you got, which is near to my ear.
Yes.
That is me when I was 16.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, and my stepdaughter saw that picture once, and she said, "Is that when you were a lady?" Next to him is that's my Maurice Green, my great grandfather, who's the tailor, and I have a story about that. It's another story,
and another, etc.
Maurice Green was fast and mean with a sewing machine. There was no one better. He and his mate Monty were the greatest. Tailors they were, they'd suit you, sir, in silk or wool or leather. They were a nice little double act. The funny man, the straight man, the quiet man, great man. They were a cut above the rest. Maury and Monty were the best. That sort of thing. So that's the very beginning of a 9-minute song called "The Tale of Two Tailors," featuring Maurice Green, who we just saw on screen there.
Very nice, cool. Yeah, I love this. You remind me a little of Wayne Brady. You know Wayne Brady?
I don't know Wayne Brady.
Wayne Brady, while he hosts Let's Make a Deal on CBS, he's done Whose Line Is It Anyway? And he's an incredible comedian. You could throw like any word at him, and he can turn it into a song immediately. A whole story in a song within a few seconds. You seem to have an ability to be able to put things together when you're focused relatively quickly. And again, if you were working in television and film where you got to come up with stuff fast, you have to have that keen ability to be able to do
Yeah.
that. It seems like you have that ability. Yeah.
Well, although not like him or like those brilliant improvisers.
And
that
me,
are,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what it is.
I'm
Improvisation.
not so great at that. I mean, a conversation like this is, funnily enough, as we were talking before, is improv. But it's not my forte. So what's happening here is, it just turns out that I've got a song about virtually everything already in the library. I may not actually have it rehearsed or stuff, but a lot of it comes back to me, and that puts me in mind to another song that might be appropriate.
Yeah, do you want to share it?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? If I had a pound for every time someone said, when they slipped on the ground and they bumped their head, there's a song in that. My picture would be in all the papers, rolling in cash on a bed in Las Vegas. If I had a quid or a buck every time up a tree a cat got stuck, or the alarm didn't ring, or they'd burned the toast, or the car wouldn't start, I'd be on the coast of Amalfi knocking back the mojitos. The unextraordinary thing does not usually inspire me to sing, but when I look around and back at what I've lost and found, and have and lack, alright, I admit there might be just a bit of a song in that. Who'd have thought when I was a kid that I'd still be doing the same as I did, and here I'd be, still craving praise and approval, which reminds me I must write the song for my funeral. All these years I've been treading the boards, Perrier, Olivia, Tony Awards, not for me. Not a plate, not a dish, not a cup. Anybody saying we'll give in or give up, but I've been at this game for a long time, though I feel like I've been waiting in a long line. I used to dream of being the English Sondheim. Instead I carved a little niche, just the side of kitsch. So if you'd care to put your spare small change into this hat, there'll be a song in that. And this is it, this is the song in that. It's just a bit of entertainment from a hat. If it gets bad reviews, you can blame it on the muse. There's a bong in that. Did I say there's a bong in that? I would have meant there was a song in that. Lately there's been a load of fuss about the end of the world and the end of us. It's never or now. But you can be the forest saviour by using bamboo toilet paper, coffee pots, plastic spoons and beakers, tumble dryers, open fires, patio heaters, puff kapow. But fear not, friends, there's hope. Before you hang yourself with hemp rope, the world is going to hell in a handcart, pushed by Philistines who do not understand art. It can change the world quite radically, cannot think of we shall overcome. Imagine and what's going on. Fascinating Aida, Justin Bieber, and any other Daniel Kahner's song. If music be the food of love, play on and make us fat. There'll be a song in that. And this is it. This is the song in that. If it's not fit for purpose, you can send it back. I've made a small career out of them, it would appear. There's a song in that. It was leave and remain again and again, all the money down the drain, what a pain in the brain. There's a song in that. Now we're locked down inside our houses, all doing Zoom without our trousers. There's a song in that. And as for all those grimy, slimy, lying bastards, what do they think they're doing? Who do they think they are? This is a song of desperation and panic. This is the song they were playing on the deck of the Titanic. And this is it. This is the song, and that is it a hit? Does it stand out from the pack? And tonight when you're in bed, it will be stuck inside your head. There's a song in that. Both sides of the pond, it's illegally blonde. It's worse than a curse, it's a crime, it's a con. There's a song in that. Fake news, hate news, too much on my plate news, bad news, mad news, targeted ad views. There's a song in that. They built a house of cards and put the Joker on the top. But unlike Humpty Dumpty, that numpty won't fall off. This is a song of bewilderment and confusion. This is a song of conflation and collusion. Are we gonna wake up in a minute and find that it's all been a bad dream? And Obama is still president, and Corona was an illusion. Well, this is it. This is the song in that. This is my shtick. This is my cane and my top hat, my Champagne Charlie finale before I go off and come back. There's a song in that. There's a song in that. There's a song in that. Sing along, love, it is. There's a song in that. Well, type along. There's a song in that. Or just emoji along. There's a song in that. And when my time runs out and I finally blow a gasket and get sent off to be recycled in a cardboard casket, as the coffin rolls away, some wag will point at it and say, wait for it, there's a song in that. There's a song in that. There's a song in that.
There's a song in that. There certainly is. That's fantastic. When did you write that?
Not so long ago, actually, a year or so.
Really?
Yeah.
It's so topical. It's so apropos.
Well, I've added bits and pieces to it. Obviously, the the bit about doing Zoom, locked down in our houses, doing Zoom without our trousers, is clearly a more recent development. Who had heard of Zoom or even this? So StreamYard, Facebook Live, YouTube,
all this stuff, and Snapchat, and Twitter, and WhatsApp, and Instagram, and Facebook, and YouTube, and this, that, and the other. Whew, so many things to keep up with. How do we do it?
Are
we even here, or is this all a dream? Right. We're so busy keeping up with all of this. The world has continued to spin without us.
Well, and although you could say that what's actually happened with the Great Pause,
bring us all together,
is that actually it's brought all that chasing about came to our attention. That actually
we were doing too much of it.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
To some extent, I mean, I know there are awful consequences, economic and all those things, and I'm not making light of any of that. No. But there was something. I'm sad in some ways that everything seems to be, reverting back to the way we've got to get it back to how it was. It wasn't so great.
Well, I hope we go to better. I've said that often on this show. I hope out of all this pause, we come back more empathetic. Love one another, be kinder, create, collaborate, less divisiveness, bring us together. And because we were so busy worrying what everybody else was doing on social media, we were already social distancing before we had to by keeping our heads stuck in cell phones where somebody's trying to talk to us and tell us about their life and we're not listening because we're stuck on the cell phones. So now we have to social distance. Nobody likes it. So it's a little taste of the way we were headed, and maybe this is a wake-up call. I keep saying that I think it was the divine planet Earth Mother Nature came together and said, you know what? We gave you life. We gave you this beautiful earth, the planet, everything. You people are fouling it up. You're attacking each other. You're destroying everything. Stop, stop, pause. We're going to throw some big things at you, one right after the other, and let's see what you do with it. Are you going to get worse? You're going to pull together? Some people have gotten worse, and you've seen the real side of people during a time when we should all be pulling together. And then you see a lot of other people that are doing some beautiful things. And also, people are pausing to sort of reevaluate their lives and who they are and their purpose and what is it that I've done so far, and what is it that I still want to do with my life. Things that maybe you wanted to write that book and you didn't have a chance to do it, or write that song. A lot of people are gardening. A lot of people are, doing different things that they never had time to do before. That seems to be enriching their life in ways. They're with the family more, and although that can go either way with some families, I guess, but still, the bottom line is it's the great reset. It's the great pause. However it happened, it's happened, and now it's up to us really to make the most of it and try to rise from the ashes better overall. More music, more arts, more love, more appreciation, and deeper breaths from the diaphragm. That's what I think. But who am I? Just masters.
Well, yeah,
The master.
just the master, and also, it's given you an opportunity to be able to broadcast every day, perhaps in a way that you weren't doing before. So there you go.
Right.
So there's a double side to this. One is that there are less gigs
You
for
see
people
that?
like me.
More
Yeah,
denial or more Daniel?
Yeah,
They're anagrams.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
true.
I think we.
A lot of mentoring and teaching happening. True.
Indeed,
Right.
there is. Yes.
Right. Yeah, this show was born out of some of it because I've always been, I do this work professionally in television and radio, and I'm always busy,
Yeah.
and people have asked me for years to put something like this together, and never really had the time to do it, the way I wanted to do it. I didn't want to just slap something together, throw on lights, and just talk. I like, this is presented like an actual television show, the way we do it. So as opposed to me just laying on the couch in my underwear talking and, I don't know, picking at a piccolo or something, just, or eating a pickle or whatever, just, hey, I'm here, let's talk. I try to present it in a way that has a little bit of a production value or whatever. So before I was ready to do it, I wanted it to be right. And here it is, and we're doing it, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're here,
Ah,
icing on the cake.
on the awesome cake. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people say, oh, that's another song. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Merlin. Mother Nature is ticked off. California earthquakes, storms, California fires, riptides, COVID, earth, air, fire, water, spirit. And that's all just in California. Jeez. No, yeah, there it is. An interesting time. How have you been viewing it, and how have you been? I've asked this of many of the guests. And usually I ask in the beginning. How have you been dealing with all of this? Some of the guests that I've talked to have said that, and it seems to be a little bit more of the performers, because we have everybody on the show, but the performers who aren't able to be out there feeling the energy of a crowd, being communal. I'm very communal as well, so I understand what they're talking about. Some of them have they felt some depression, they felt lost, they felt trapped because they're not out there on stage, they're not out there doing what they want to do with that reaction of the public there, seeing their faces, hearing their voices. They're in a room talking to a camera and there isn't that response that's the same. So some of them have been dealing with a lot of different things and then coming through it, which is beautiful. How about you? Have you been creative and keeping things flowing and keeping positive?
You go up and down with it, to be honest. And yes, I'm disappointed. I should be doing another run at the Soho Playhouse as we speak in New York, and I'm not. So that's sort of disappointing. But at the same time, there are some, and I was thinking, well, is because I've done quite a lot of broadcasting, so like you, I'm quite used to they're not necessarily being an audience in front of me, but still having to deliver or entertain, if you like. And I think Zoom, interesting enough, I've done quite a few Zoom concerts. I quite like it because you can see people. And you can get some interaction, and this, what's quite nice about this, because you're hosting it and you're putting up. I can't, my eyes are too old and unfocused. Plus, it's now whatever time it is, because I can't read the time. But it's late for me, so I can't. But I can see. I'm looking at the screen in front of you.
It's past the witching hour.
It is. So I'm looking at the screen that everyone's looking at home. But I can't focus on the comments, so I can't read them. But it's great that you're putting them up, and so I feel like, well, we are all in it together, and there is something quite communal about doing a concert like this, and less formal, rather than it just being somebody sort of dictating to you, just presenting something, and you're as an audience very passive. You're able to communicate back again and stuff, and that's I think that's quite a nice thing. So I've been enjoying doing these broadcasts, and so I go up and down with it, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. I want to show a few more photos here too. Tell us about this one, Daniel. The Happy Prince. We were mentioning that briefly.
That was a children's project that I did, and that's the album cover, and it's by a very well-known artist called
read by
Canier.
Julie Christie too.
And read by Julie Christie. Now, Julie Christie, at the time we recorded this, I had my studio was in the attic of my house, family home, and so Julie Christie came round to do the reading. And so it was about 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're going, Julie Christie's going.
Everybody sit up straight.
That's right.
Comb your hair.
And so she arrived, and thought, well, what happens afterwards? Maybe it was 11 o'clock she arrived. She was due to arrive, and thought, what happens after? Do we give her what does she go away? What do we do? So we thought we'll put some lunch on, just in case she wants it.
And definitely a spot of tea.
Definitely. Well, she definitely you some tea to take up with you, Julie, and all that stuff. And of course, Julie Christie was, particularly, she was hot stuff in her day, and still is actually. So she turns up, and she says, I said, "Would you like to have some lunch with us afterwards?" And she says, "No, I don't think so." And so she comes up the stairs, past the kids' bedrooms, with all the stuff going on, the Lego everywhere, and all the stuff, picking her way through, up to the attic, and then she sits in the thing, and I'd never really, produced or recorded a spoken word art, an actor like that before, let alone an Oscar-winning, Hollywood legend.
I just wanted to show you that in Brazil, Carla says, "Precious Happy Prince, a masterpiece, is sort of available on Amazon. Precious job, Daniel."
Oh,
and
great!
She's in South America, and she has it. Yeah, Carla.
Oh, yeah. Well, I assume. Sorry, I missed your name there, but
Carla.
Carla, I assume you're talking actually about the story, this is the Oscar Wilde story, because I don't suppose you know. I mean, it's very nice of you if you've actually heard the CD and you think it's a masterpiece, fantastic. I'm very proud of it actually, as it was, and I think it honours the story very well. So basically, I'd written all these songs for it and had her come and do the narration. It was very difficult because there was one bit where she read it and the emphasis was wrong, and I'd heard that you don't tell actors how to read it. You don't. So I was trying. How do I communicate this with her? That I want it to be different, and I'm so skirting around the thing, saying, "Well, imagine you're in this sort of place, and imagine this," and she said, "For goodness' sake, just tell me how to say it." So, I think
it was the word emphasis.
And
as opposed to emphasis. The emphasis. I love that. Next time I want to emphasize something, I'm going to say I'm trying to emphasis. Do you understand?
Well, it's a gag, of course, but you put the wrong emphasis on it. So
I love it.
She came down. So
I'm writing all this down. I'm writing all this down.
Good. It's gold.
It'll all be in the book.
So she comes downstairs, eventually past the kids' bedroom and the Lego and all this sort of stuff. She's done the recording, and that's all fine. And she goes, "So well, maybe I will stay for a spot of lunch afterwards." So that's great. So we're all there, making the thing. And I said, so I tried to put her at ease. I said, "Relax, Julia. It's a Celebrity Friday. We have famous actors. Last week it was Judi Dench was here, and so it was all. So we had a bit of fun, and she was very, very keen on the pudding that my wife at the time, ex-wife, produced. It was a lemon fluff, and which is some sort of
Fluff.
Sounds.
It's a lemon. It's a lemon fluff.
It's an.
How do you make it? Yeah. How do you dramatize lemon fluff?
It's an onomatopoeic dessert, and she says, "Oh," she said, "Oh, Sally, I love your lemon fluff." Anyway, that has remained as a. Well, shall we move swiftly on?
To the other and the other and the other?
No. Well,
who's responsible for sweeping up all these others?
Would you maybe?
Did you get that recorded? That line of her saying, that she admires the lemon fluff. I mean, that's gold.
Yeah, if she wasn't in. Yeah, I know. If she'd been upstairs, which I should. Well, should have been secretly recording her. I don't know. Anyway, never heard from her since.
I mean, when's the last time you heard somebody tell you they admired your lemon fluff?
Yeah, just milk that gag, Jim. Go on.
See, when there's no commercials, you can.
That's right. I think
we don't have to go to break. There's no break to cut to.
Well, let's cut to it now, shall we?
We have some more. We have some more photos.
Oh, do we? I was going to say, would you like another song? But if you want to put the photos up,
yeah, we'll throw a couple of photos on. There's another nice one. Do you know where you were there? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do know where I was there. That is me singing a song called "How We're Blessed" in Los Angeles somewhere. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. There's another one.
And that's that's me singing a song called Under the Table. I could actually sing the songs if you wanted, rather than looking at
nice.
Both stills. There's Fields of Fish and Chips again. Yeah.
That's another. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, this is the Jewish Chronicles as well. I like this one. This one's cool.
Yeah. That was taken actually at a place called God's Junkyard.
God's Junkyard?
Yeah, God's Junkyard. It's a neon warehouse.
Is that in London? Or?
Yeah, it's in London. It's in Walthamstow.
Cool. I love these names. God's Junkyard, blah blah cafe. I love these names.
Yeah. Well, the blah blah is no more, but God's Junkyard is still there, and it's a fantastic place actually. If you happen to visit London, you like that kind of thing. Cool. It's just full of all that gear that you can see behind, masses of neon, incredible. Yeah.
This is interesting. Do you watch Absolutely Famous or Mrs. Bucket?
Yeah, Absolutely Fabulous. That's
Fabulous.
Fab. That is Jennifer Swordsman and Joanna Lumley, and also written partly by Ruby Wax, who I did a gig with not so long ago actually. And Mrs. Bucket is Hyacinth Bucket.
Yes. Bouquet. Excuse me, Bouquet. Right.
Oh yeah.
Keeping Up Appearances.
Yeah.
With music written by one of my favorite composers and arrangers, Nick Ingman.
Oh, I didn't know that, and I didn't know him.
Yeah. From England there.
Well, it used to be your favourite because not anymore.
Well, of course, that has all changed. Yeah. he's now the other.
Yeah.
So you want to perform more? Do you want to surprise us with something?
Could do. I could do that.
Can you do supercalifragilisticexpialidocious backwards?
I don't do other people's material, Jim. You know that by now.
Any paying
forwards
homage?
or backwards?
Julie Andrews paying homage at all, or
where's Julie Andrews come from? Oh, because no. Why are we talking about Julie Andrews?
Just threw it in there.
Oh yeah, okay.
England. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, no, definitely done.
Jennifer can't stop laughing. Merlin is choking with laughter in Canada. Too funny. Yeah, I didn't realize, I should have, forget about multi-instrumentalists. I should have just said comedy night. This is raw comedy that usually comedy clubs would charge a premium for.
Yeah.
And you and I are delivering this out of the graces of our hearts. And didn't even know we were going to do that.
No, I'm still slightly doubtful that we are. But still, would you like me to do a comedy number, or would you like something more plaintive and important and serious about the state of the world. So,
Why don't you?
No,
Well-
I'll tell you. Let me do this one. I tell
You could do both. You could do one and then do the other to show your range.
Yeah, well,
Three thumbs up from Ralph Lampkin. 3 thumbs up.
Okay, this maybe actually has the range of both. So this is actually quite a. I don't often get a chance to do this one, so this will be quite fun. This is a.
So is this a world exclusive on the Jim Masters Show Live?
Yeah,
A
completely.
world exclusive.
Yeah, because even though I have done it before, I've never done it exactly like this.
Another world exclusive.
Yeah. So this piece is it's a childhood story, basically, about a formative, mildly traumatic event from my youth, and it takes place at this fun fair. In a place called Battersea. Did you like? I hope there's a nice name for you, Battersea.
Yes.
Yeah. Or actually, it's become quite. For a while, it wasn't a very posh area, but it's become more so in recent years, and so sometimes we refer to it as Battersea now. Famously, Battersea has a huge power station, which was featured on the front of the Pink Floyd album with the pigs flying across it. If that means
Yom
anything.
Kippur song.
Yeah, I could do. Well, yeah, but I'm in the mood for this one now.
Hillary
Professor
Rollins
Professor.
is stuck on Sally's Lemon Fluff.
Of course you are. Yeah. I see what you did there. Deliberate use of the word "stuck" there. Also, it didn't escape me.
I
Now,
tell you.
So this is this song. This is it should be self-explanatory. It's the late 1960s, it's a family outing to Battersea Pleasure Gardens. It's gotta be winter, it's probably late afternoon. It's dark, there's a slither of a moon. There's 100,000 multicolored carnival lights, though my memory of it seems to be in just black and white. There's the rocking and the rolling of the giant roller coaster at Battersea Pleasure Gardens. If I were a little bit older, I'd be on it like a flash, that's for sure. But you've got to be 12 or more. So we settle for the waltzes and the bumper car rides that my dad lets me drive whilst he covers his eyes. Though it's no longer there, I can still hear the sound of thunder, Clap Newman starting, and all the fun of the fair at Battersea Pleasure Gardens. There are side stalls and stages and small shooting ranges at Battersea Pleasure Gardens. With a little bit of luck, you can hook a plastic duck and win a prize. The kinds of things no one actually buys. An inflatable banana, a blue elephant, a flag, a lonely looking goldfish in a transparent bag. Just by the roller coaster, a crowd of people gather at Battersea Pleasure Gardens. They're watching and they're waiting, but for what I'm not able to tell. Then there's a cheer and the sound of a bell. I'm going slightly distracted by the by the comments on screen, and also because I've completely forgotten what happens next. Though it's no longer there, I can still hear. No, let me describe the scene. It's 7 balls a shilling if you want to try it. And out of the roller coaster juts, instead of a row of coconuts, a woman in a bed. Yes, you heard me right. Above the bed on the wall there's a target, and if somebody hits the bullseye, The bed tips up, a woman falls out, and she ain't coconut shy. It's a real live lady in a polka dot bikini, standing right in front of me. She wiggles and she shimmies and she shakes till my pupils are the size of Pontefract cakes. She does a catwalk turn, she tilts her head, and in less than 7 seconds she's back in the bed. Oh, tip the lady, tip the lady. That's what the sign said. Tip the lady, tip the lady, tip the lady out of bed. Well, I stood there for ages, watching over and over at Battersea Pleasure Gardens, with my dad right beside me, doing exactly the same, till my mum came and dragged us away. Then, still carrying my goldfish, I listened to them row, trying to make some sense of the shame I felt now. Through the back of the car window, I watched the flashing letters of Battersea Pleasure Gardens, getting smaller and smaller, like a television dot into the rain. We won't be going there again. But now every time I hear a ringing bell sound, I see a girl in a bikini. Or is it the other way round? I just went there to play, but this risque rated scene got thrown into the bargain, though it made me the man I am today at Battersea Pleasure Gardens. A couple of years later, they closed the roller coaster at Battersea Pleasure Gardens. There was a terrible crash, and the fair was no longer fun at all. Now there's just a plaque on the wall where the tip the lady out of bed stall used to be, and there's a shadow of a 9-year-old me. The lady in the bikini lives in retirement home, 9-year-olds today have hardcore porn on their phone. Those days are gone, but the same old things go on ad nauseatum, and so does my song at Battersea Pleasure Gardens. Tip the lady, tip the lady, still going round in my head. Tip the lady, tip the lady, tip the lady out of bed.
Bravo, bravo. That's really, really nice. That's fantastic. When did you prepare that?
I wrote that for one of those one of those shows, Edinburgh shows, but it was amazing finding the footage because it's exactly as I remembered it. It was buried in what was it? It was buried in one of those, scouring YouTube, thinking, could I find some footage of it? Nothing, but it was, they used to have those like Pathé. No, it was called Look at Life, I think it was called.
Right.
And so it would be sort of bum 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 bum. It was something like London, 1960s. Bum 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 bum. And here's Big Ben. Bum 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 bum. And here's Tower Bridge. And here's the fun fair. Bum bum bum. All the people of London having a great time at the fair. Bum 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 bum. And then there was that footage. It's like, it's the lady, there it is, it's straight, it says so, it says so. You know, I wasn't making this up, it was a true memory of exactly how it was. So there we go. So it was quite a miracle actually finding it. It was just buried in that, you know.
That is fantastic. Everybody's loving it. The comments are, bravo, an awesome night, so much fun. Clap, clap, clap from, all around the world here.
You do get this every night, don't you, Jim?
Absolutely, of course. Amazing and wonderful. The Lovities, I tell you, they just love this.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you, Lovities.
But extra Lovity tonight for you.
Excellent.
What a treat tonight. Thanks, Dana, for spending the time with us. And Sherry, Showing Line came in a little bit late, so Christine is telling Sherry, yes, tonight's a fantastic, very funny show, including entertaining great songs from Daniel. Great entertainment. Thanks for sharing your amazing story as well. And everybody, they're all loving this. This is fantastic. Bravo. And really, really cool. So, when you look at your body of work, which is quite extensive, and you've worn, pun intended, you've worn a lot of different hats, as have I. Are there things...
You've got a good hat on.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Is there anything that you still haven't done yet that you'd like to do within the industry?
Tons of it, of course.
Yeah, there's a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've done. I did write a musical.
That's right.
It didn't get, it it had a short fuse. What can I say? But doing a musical, making a musical, is a bit like saying, "Oh yes, I'm going to win the lottery." It's basically writing a musical, workshopping a musical, getting it to any stage. So there are so many moving parts in that. But I was quite pleased with what I did, and I would do it better now. And so I think I've got another musical in me that I'd like to do. I've got a new show that I'm sort of always kind of half writing and thinking about. And lots of stuff. I'm very proud of some of the work that's the more plaintive songs, the more that are being sung in synagogues now. Which who knew that was going to happen? It was never in like a plan. So all that sort of thing. And I'm reading that too, though. It says, "Where's my Zen place?" But I'm going to tell you my Zen place. My Zen place is my zone place. It's when I am feeling inspired to write, when I feel the work coming through me. And again, it all sounds a little bit woo-woo, but when you get that question, which I get a lot, what comes first, the music or the words? And then Sammy Khan said the phone call,
right.
And I would say the prayer, the message. That's what it's whatever it is. I'm not going to define
whatever it is for an individual, right?
But something. I almost go, well, what do you want me to write? Now it'd be weird. It's funny to come up with something like Battersea Pleasure Gardens. And it's kind of a little bit sort. You wouldn't think that the Almighty would say, write a song about this girl pulling her pants down, and that you saw in 1960, whatever. But this is what comes out, and I don't know why. I don't know how it happens or why it happens, but these are the moments these things come together, and that moment where you feel connected to something bigger and something greater, and I feel, that's the Zen place. That's the Zen place.
That's it. Still, do you like the mountains or the ocean? That's what she really wants to know.
I like them both.
She asks every guest that.
Oh, is that right?
She will not be Zen unless she gets an answer.
Is she doing a tally?
I think she's keeping a tally. See, I live along the coast and grew up along the coast. So for me, the ocean, I'm always in it, swimming and boogie boarding, surfing, whatever. The ocean draws me, though I love the mountains. She loves the mountains. Certain guests have said ocean, mountains, but for you, you're surrounded obviously by a lot of water, the ocean, everything, English Channel, all of it.
Yeah.
But what is your?
It's ocean.
It is the ocean. Yeah.
Sea, actually. For
the sea
for us
right.
Brits, really. We ain't got no ocean. Well, no, we got you've got a little. We've got the Irish Sea. I suppose you've got Scotland. You've got the Atlantic. But yes, I would say it's the ocean.
The ocean, yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So, what is a typical? Well, it's hard now to answer a question like this, I guess, because it's so atypical. But generally, what is a day like for you? Do you get up and are you always inspired to start writing, start creating? Like, for example, I mentioned to a couple of people, a friend who would always wake up late at night when the house was quiet, not during the busyness of the day and the responsibilities of the day, but when the house was quiet and everybody was asleep, he would wake up out of his sleep and would be significantly creative, writing screenplays and all kinds of cool things because he could focus. And sometimes he would actually wake out of his sleep with these amazing ideas. I don't know if it comes from a dream or whatever it is, and get right to the typewriter and type quickly so it's not a passing fancy. It's not information that came and he won't remember in the morning. Do you have inspirations that pop out of anywhere for you like that during the course of a typical day or night?
God, no. I mean, yes.
A
Yes.
2.5 hour build-up, and he goes, God, no? I expected something a little bit longer and more dramatic than that.
No.
Oh, are we live?
That's another story.
Another story. That's your autobiography. That will be on your tombstone. That's another story.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. I mean, I do have that. Of course, I do have that. Most of the, do I wake up?
Inspired sometimes.
I wake up going, "Where's the coffee?
Where's the coffee?" Yeah.
And actually, it's complicated. Coffee these days is complicated. You need the coffee before you can work out how to make the coffee. That's the problem. I need a slightly different coffee making facility. But that's another
Alison
story.
wants to know if you have kids or grandkids.
Oh yes. I've got 2 grown-up boys, one of whom does have his grandchild, a child who's my grandchild, Truman. So that's Oscar and Ruben, my 2 older boys, and I have 2 stepdaughters by my second venture into the world of committed long-term relationships.
I like the way you word that. And when you hear it worded that way with the British accent, there's just something about that. Everything sounds sweeter. I don't know what it is. My second adventure into long-term committed relationships. So if you went over to Ireland, they'd say my second crack at it. Lots of crack.
That'd be my second crack. Yeah. That's right. I think we should leave that one alone as well. Actually. I know. Here, how are we doing for time? Is it? We're supposed to be.
I don't remember anymore. Is the clock even ticking?
How
is the
does
clock
show
even?
last?
I think Big Ben stopped 2 hours ago.
I was thinking about.
You're the one that lives across the street from Big Ben. Look out the window. Yeah. Tell me what time.
Yeah, but if I were to do that, I'd have to get up and you'd see that I wasn't.
And the headphones would fly off, and the wiring.
And you'd see my boxer shorts, wouldn't you? So and they've got elephants on them. So I thought I was the mountains. I'm still stuck on the mountains and the oceans. Actually,
I'm still stuck on the lemon fluff.
Okay.
Would you like to do another song?
All right.
That's always a good segue.
Okay.
Yes.
I will. Yes, I will. Talking of mountains and oceans and all that stuff.
Yes.
Something for the moment here.
Yes.
Is it just me, or do the days these days go by that much more quickly than they did? So many strange things going on, so many pieces of the puzzle that don't fit. I watch the sunset on the western sea. The light plays on the water, and it feels to me that I am blessed to be here, despite all the unrest and the way it may appear. I'm grateful for what I'm about to receive. Let me be grateful for all that I've achieved, and when I'm looking for a place to hide, when I feel broken inside, remind me, grateful. That's how I want to be. Just look around, it doesn't take that much to be confused or get upset. When the world is upside down and what you see is not always what you get. There's been so many things I should have done, and so many others that I would not have done had I known then what I know today. But then again, I'd not have learned along the way to be grateful. When it's not quite how I imagine, I'll be grateful for the lights and sounds and action when I can't tell wrong from right, when I'm wound up far too tight. Release me, grateful. That's how I want to be. How much you're pushed, how much you're pulled, how much you wish, how much you wait, how much you pray. And if you don't get what you want, then what you want's not what you needed anyway. Zoom out the camera lens and what do we see? The Earth, the Moon, the planets, and the galaxy. And I am just this speck of dust, lost somewhere in my own universe. Grateful, hark the herald angels sing, come all ye faithful, and give thanks for everything. For all that's said and done, for all that's yet to come, help me to be grateful. That's how I want to be. Grateful, grateful, grateful.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. That is really, like Merlin says, lovely, Daniel. That is, I love music like that, songs. Tell us about the inspiration for that song. That really is beautiful, and that's so apropos, really, for any time, but really especially now. That's tell us about, again, the inspiration for the song, but also where could we find that song? Is it available on a CD? Is it anywhere? That song needs to be heard.
Oh, well, yeah.
It's very beautiful, very beautiful.
Actually, I've got a couple of nice recordings of that. Actually, I think it might be on my website. You can find it there. It's also on a CD that I haven't actually released on, you know what they call it. I say CD. They're not CDs anymore, are they? But
like MP3
but they're not on Spotify and things. But it's on an album called Signs and Wonders. That the collection's there, but I haven't actually launched it yet, and I will do. But you can find this stuff if you go to my website, which I'm sure you will put the website up there. But I'm Daniel Canier anyway, and also
it's danielcaner.com.
.com.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And in fact, I'm going to be doing an online gig next week. if anybody feels like coming along, and it's free for a free gig with donations. It's actually in aid of the Soho Playhouse, which I am. Where I would be, because of course a lot of theatres, and it's a very challenging time. So, so I'm doing that gig next week where I'll be a different set of material. So, yeah, I really enjoyed playing that just now. Actually, I was really feeling it actually, and so you come and find me, and and say hello independently of this. Of course, Lovities. Drop me a note, drop me a line from the website and stuff. Yeah. Join the mailing list, blah blah. There we go. That's it. That's where you'll get me.
We got it right on. Hot off the presses. Now I think what we like to do with this show, Daniel, an inspirational, lovely song with the lyrics so relevant to today's world and needs to be heard all around. That does sound like a song that would be an anthem, like something that would be tied to something even larger than the song itself, to some sort of a cause, some sort of a charitable, some sort of an event. It just sounds like it almost sounds like a theme, an anthem. You know what I mean? It doesn't just sound like a song you would listen to and then walk away from, and then it lasts. I still hear it. I still hear it going. Yeah, it's really.
I mean, it's also
plus the way you presented it too. You had a lot of, it was touchingly presented, which I think adds to the whole thing.
It's a difficult concept, gratitude as well, isn't it? Because you're grateful for things that you like, but there's so much that you don't like. And how you turn that, acceptance, how you come to terms with that, and it's something that I'm always wrestling. We all wrestle with, isn't it? Yeah. How you embrace the things that you're not so keen on, and there's a lot of things in the world at the moment that it's hard to be grateful for, but there's life makes sense in reverse, doesn't it? You look back and you understand why these things happen. When they're happening at the time, it's harder. So, but I thank you for all the lovely things that you said about that, it's a piece that I'm pleased with. Funnily enough, you asked how it came about, but it really, I don't even know if I should really share it actually, but I'll tell you what happened. I was in...
And there's no other. We'll finish it.
Yeah. All right, we will finish this. This is a story. I'm happy to see you at the same time and tell you, actually. I was staying with a friend in LA, and it was the week of... they had just legalized, whatever they call it, legalized the marijuana thing, and you could go into a shop and buy this stuff, as you can in many states now, can't you? And I thought, I'm a stranger in a strange land. I'll go and see what this is like, shall I? So I went into this place, and it was like a kind of biker thing, and you could buy all these things. And she says, I said, I'd quite like to try some of this, but I really don't want it to be very strong, and I don't want to get all paranoid and weird, So she says, I usually take maybe half a dozen of these, but you just take one of these. And this is like Alice in Wonderland, take one of these things. And so it was an edible gummy thing. So I took it back to where I was staying. I took
edible gummy thing.
An edible gummy thing. It looked like a little bit of chewing gum or something. And so I thought, okay, let's see what this is all about. So I had that, and it was absolutely awful. It was one of the worst experiences I ever had. Awful. I mean, just the bad trip, just dreadful, just dreadful. And I was just almost in agony with this, like, who am I? What am I? What's going on? Oh, when will this be over? And
didn't you wake up saying that this morning?
Yeah, coffee, please. So I rang up my son, my second son, who's an expert in these matters, and he said, "Dad, just gratitude. Just remember that." If it all feels, we just calm down, gratitude, and have some vitamin C and fruit juice. And so that's what I did on that advice, and then I wrote that. I wrote that song from that place, because I
From
was
that experience?
completely from that experience. Well,
But they do say that some of the music, especially during the 1960s or the 70s, a lot of the music some of it was during an altered state that created this extraordinary creativity that may or may not have happened otherwise, or it's heightened.
Well, that's exciting, but I think it all comes from an altered state of some sort or another, and that is, altered states is the place where, that's the point, that's the Zen point, isn't it? The altered state. But and I'm not even necessarily, I don't know if I was in the altered state when I wrote it, but I was coming down from the altered. But I wrote it in reaction to that state, and that's what. And then remarkably, it got picked up by a cantor in Calabasas.
Beautiful area.
Alliterative cantor, and he heard it for some reason. I didn't think much more about it, and then he sent me a video of him performing it at a high holiday service, with the words up on the screen and a choir and an orchestra. It's a big production number of this song that had come from that point. You couldn't have written it that would happen.
Was that some residual effect from that event?
No, that's
it never left you.
That's that's COVID. Fortunately, we're 5,000 miles. Where are you? Well, by the way.
Now you ask?
Now I ask. Where are you? How many thousands of miles away from you?
I'm in the apartment across the street,
Really?
looking with my binoculars.
Yeah. Well, I would, like I say, I would get up and check on that, but then you'd see.
Right, but
I'm not wearing any boxer shorts at all.
And you don't want to have the keyboard fly on the floor since you're probably tethered to it.
Yeah.
I'm in the United States, in the greater New York area.
Oh, so you're on the East Coast. Yeah.
Southern New England coast between New York and Boston, yeah. Just literally, if I look far enough, I can see London. If I look across the ocean.
And if I look far enough, I'll see you. Yeah.
More than likely. Unless you look in the other direction, then you see what? Hungary?
Actually, the other direction would be directly east, would be Holland, I suppose.
Yes, the Netherlands. We must toast. We always toast. What do you have in there? Some coffee or tea? The tea bag. You got the tea bag.
Yeah, that's right. There's the tea bag there. This was something berry and echinacea.
Very nice.
Tea.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers. We always do cheers with our guests. Cheers. What do you do to keep your the vocal when you're doing? Say you're going to do a gig or you're going to perform. Is there any specific routine or training you go through with your voice to prepare it?
No, whiskey, cigarettes, that kind of thing. No,
that's the usual. They say that works. No,
I don't do. I mean,
nothing specific.
Yeah, I don't do that particularly, nor do I have any. I probably should. I should be doing breathing exercises and looking after my voice and things, and with a bit more respect.
I have a friend who's an opera singer, and she won't go out in the frigid cold when she has to perform, just because it does a number on the vocal cords. And some people do all kinds of la 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 la, all kinds of vocal sounds, and some drink the tea, some do a lot of different things.
No, I don't have any particular routine. I mean, I'm not usually doing this at 2:30 in the morning, must be said. So I'm slightly surprised.
Even when you were 18, you weren't at 2:30 in the morning? Maybe back then.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. No, not really. But yes. Oh, look, somebody's put it. "How We're Blessed" is another song. It is. I don't know if these are requests or whether I don't know when we. I thought that was the big finish.
That was yeah. Is that another song
How
that you did? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on all night if you like.
Well, if you want to share that one, maybe we can make that sort of like a wrapper. That would be nice.
It would be, but I was thinking that we should probably end on we should end on some comedy.
You want to end up, yeah,
Should we-
up. It's always good to end, I think, up. I mean,
Yeah.
that really was a beautiful, beautiful song.
Oh, well, and I don't know. Are there any theatre producers online? You've got anything to say about this?
There are, absolutely, absolutely. What comes to mind for you? What is something that, and tell us about, the show, when you do the Jewish Chronicles, things of that nature, what is that like? What can one experience if they go to one of those shows?
It's pretty much like this, but without you. that's what it's
So
like.
it's a drag?
Yeah, I mean, if only you've been in all of my one-man shows and my off-Broadway runs, I would have a wall full of Tony Awards. But alas, we've only met now. But everything could change.
There's
in the
still
future.
time. There is
still time. So, basically, you get a sort of slightly more formal version of this, and of me.
It's cool.
Telling the stories and the story songs that I do. I mean, I've done one of them. I've done the one about the Battersea thing. That's usually not in it, but they're longer and they're more involved, and they all have a narrative part of it. And then there's a kind of narrative arc that goes through it all. And then I have and I do the one about my father at the laundrette.
So it's a blending of. There's poignant moments, comedic moments. It's a blending of all of it.
Yeah. One
yeah.
of the stories that I tell is a true story, mostly about members of my family. But one of the ones that I tell is actually about somebody else. It was a rabbi in Manchester, England, and there's a picture of Manchester, in fact. And this is a rabbi who was it was in the newspapers. So it must be true. Who was addicted to cocaine, actually, shockingly enough. Now, I don't know if you're finding that particularly shocked. You've gone from my screen, Jim, but do you have anything to say? Is this worrying you that you're hearing about a rabbi who's a cocaine addict?
Not these days.
Not these days. So, would you like? Could you possibly pretend to be
I mean,
shocked
you didn't.
by
You
this?
could have been mentioning the church, but that's a whole other topic.
That's sometimes that's not so funny, particularly.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, this rabbi cocaine.
So now we're going to comedy.
Yeah. So shocking, horrified. So love it is. Is there an emoji for being shocked? Yeah, I know, the scream. The
Home
scream
Alone,
emoji.
the kid,
Can
Macaulay Culkin from the movie Home Alone.
yeah, can you get your screen emojis up when I tell you about the rabbi from Manchester who was addicted to cocaine?
We can get the comments, but I don't know if there's screen emojis.
Can you not put? Well, they've got. I can see the odd emoji in there, and the.
You see an emoji?
Yeah.
What are you saying? Are you seeing things?
Yeah, and I am now.
What screen are you looking? Hey, I'm over here. What are you looking at?
I was looking at the comments. Look, anyway, let's not get bogged down in that. The rabbi was addicted to cocaine.
Oh, so like here.
Shock,
there you go.
Shock, yeah.
Oh, he's got his own Broadway lighting and everything. We're here on YouTube if you miss us. She's on YouTube. And there's some emojis. Yeah, these emojis from Sherry.
Yeah, exactly.
Professor Lesser says bad rabbi.
Bad rabbi, yes. Well, this is the bad rabbi who...
so the viewers can type in all the different emojis if they want.
That's right. So not only was this rabbi addicted to cocaine, he was also addicted to ladies. What kind of ladies, I hear you ask, Jim?
We're going back to the laundrette again, huh?
We are. So what kind of ladies?
What kind of ladies, Daniel?
Yeah. I thought you'd never ask. Why, the ladies of the night. The
night.
ladies of the night. Yes, that's right. So much so that when he was arrested They came and they found him. He'd collapsed, surrounded by his favourite hookers, and he had been 6 days and 6 nights constantly stopping and snorting and all that kind of thing, and he needed a rest because it was Shabbat. So here is a picture of some. I mentioned the festival of Purim. It's actually high holidays coming up. So
yes, that's right.
But this
very
is
timely.
Another Jewish holiday called Purim, where the ultra Orthodox are inclined to have a drink or two and dress up, and there they are, dressed up and having had a drink or two. And also I'll be talking about the shofar. Now the shofar is topical because the shofar is not that kind of shofar, but this kind, which will be being heard on Friday, I do believe, if not before. So there we go. The story of the rabbi in Manchester who was addicted to, surprise, surprise, cocaine. Rabbi Baruch Halomish, he liked a bit of crack as he thumbed through the pages of the escort brochure. Like that. Or like that. Not for him the Diet Coke, his idea of a snack was pure cocaine, which he patiently explained was actually halakhically kosher. In a luxury city centre flat, he chopped them out for the judges and the surgeons and the northern glitterati, like the children of Israel when they built the golden cow. Say what you like, he threw a hell of a kosher klezmer party on the Friday night table. It was piled high over the candles. He would smelt the challah poppy seeds. He baked a mean hash bagel. He was a wild guy when he was high. He was pretty fly for a rabbi. This is a sing-along moment, love it is. You go. He was mad, wasn't he? He was sad, wasn't he? He lost his wife. Suddenly she left him half the man he used to be. He sits in the dock and he sees he's been a schmuck, and he promises from now on he'll be good. The defendant's repentant malud. He swears it on the Talmud. And the judge gives Baruch a slap on the tuch. He says, you're not just a bad, bad guy. You're a very bad, bad rabbi. Bad rabbi. Bad rabbi. Sing along again. Bad rabbi. Rabbi Baruch Halomish was learned and wise. He studied at a yeshiva in old Yerushalayim, and every day he'd argue till the tears were in his eyes about which foods could be eaten, should be chopped or mashed or beaten, and which oil it was permissible to fry in. And you mustn't boil a baby goat up in its mother's milk. But where's it written? It's forbidden to use coconut or soya. They're devils for the detail. Rabbi Baruch and his ilk, they're like union officials in dispute with their employer. Every hour on the hour, a lady from the street would press the buzzer and ask to see the rabbi, please. And he'd lead them to the bedroom and he'd say to them, my sweet. He'd say to them, my sweet, my life would be complete if you peckle my schmeckle through the hole in this sheet. He was wild, wasn't he? Like a child, wasn't he? He was nuts, wasn't he? Like a klutz, wasn't he? No ifs or buts, wasn't he? A pillar of the community, but now he's distraught because White knows that he'd been caught. I don't blame him for his cravings, do you? For wanting a prostitute or two to do what no Haredi lady would do. And the judge says, Baruch, this time you are in shtuk. You're not just a bad, bad guy. You're a very bad, bad rabbi. Bad rabbi. Sing along, folks. Bad rabbi. Can't seem to hear you. Bad rabbi. Is it good for the Jews when we read it in the news? How we worry, how we scurry, how we cringe Why could he not have been happy with just the occasional spliff? Nobody likes to see a rabbi going out on a binge. What did he think he was doing? Treating every day like it was Purim. Rabbi Baruch. Hello, mission example to us all. Beware ye holier than thou. You could end up in this condition. The strong do weaken and the mighty do fall. They start off on the pulpit, they end up being the culprit. It's the downside of the missionary position. There's a blessing for the bread and a blessing for the wine, and there's something to be said for a life of piety. If you're downloading porn or you're chopping out a line, remember you can still be seen by the eyes of the Almighty, and you mustn't drive your car on a Yom Tov or Shabbat. And as well as your kippah, you must wear a wide brim hat, expose the tassels on your vest. You must let your sideburns curl and thank Hashem. Every morning that you've not been born a girl, and you mustn't lay down with your sister or your mum or your fathers or the wives or the daughter of your son or your daughter or her daughter or your grandma or your aunt. Yes, you very may well want to. Well, I'm sorry, but you can't. Though it's frowned upon, surprisingly, first cousins they'll allow. But not the sheep, or the goat, or the chicken, or the cow. If you must drink in Starbucks, use a paper cup with a panini BLTini is the thrill you must give up. We all know the major commandments 1 through 10, but nowhere does it say thou shalt not snort cocaine in any one of them. And in Prestwich and in Heaton Park and Cheetham Hill, they sit and shiver cause his bin and now is empty. That Randy Rampant Rob has popped his last pill, he's bought his last thrill. Say bye-bye to the rabbi, bye-bye, rabbi-bye-bye. All together now. He was wild, wasn't he? Like a child, wasn't he? He was reviled, and then he was exiled, wasn't he? He will party no more. He can't wait for Yom Kippur, and he promises those days are dead and gone. He recognizes now that he was wrong, and he'll no longer use the shofar as a bong. And the judge says, Baruch, let's not beat around the burning bush. You're not just a bad, bad guy. You're a very bad, bad rabbi. Bad rabbi. Bad rabbi. Sing along, along, along. Bad rabbi. Bad rabbi. All right, how about a singing along and a bit of clapping? Lie, lie, la 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 la. Can't hear you. Lie, la 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 la. Hey, still can't hear you. Lie, la 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 la. Why can't I hear you? Lie, la la la. A very bad, bad rabbi. A very bad, bad rabbi. A very bad, bad rabbi.
We had to move real fast with those graphics.
Oh, my goodness me.
I tell you, in a New York minute, we got it in live from London, the bad rabbi clapping, and even more importantly, amazing comments here. And you want your emojis, my viewers deliver. They don't just give you an emoji. They give you emojis on the Jim Master Show. All the levity. Jennifer, awesome. LOL, LOL. She's got the heart sign. She's got the peace sign. La 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 from Kathy Short. Lots more clapping, smiley faces. Double thumbs up, Ralph Lampkin in Indiana. And Christine Roman Clifton in North Carolina. She's got the microphone. She's got the laughing my what off. She's got the pianos. She's got everything in there. And Allison Tillman, LOL. And she's got the crying, laughing so hard emoji. Merlin said, "You're not what I expected, but absolutely too funny. Enjoyed this show so much." That is exactly what we aimed for when we put this show together, Merlin.
Yeah, she's talking about you.
Not what she expected?
But too funny. Yeah.
She's in Innerkip, Ontario, Canada. She watches literally every single night. We appreciate that.
Aw.
That's levity and loyalty. Sherry's loving it too. She's got one has the tongue out, the other one's smiling, the other one is clapping. And Kathleen Walker in New York City, which is really nice that she is watching and that she is laughing and smiling because her mom passed away 2 weeks ago
Oh,
in New York. Yeah. So she's a dear friend as well too, personal friend. So she's been watching the show and the guests, and it's been lifting her. It's been lifting, the grief, and you're doing that right now for a lot of people, which is a beautiful thing. And that is the gravy of what is done sometimes, right? You never know the people who you're reaching and you're touching. You may go into it thinking, I'm going to entertain, we're going to do the usual, and then you'll come across somebody who comes up to you to say, you know what, I was having a really bad day, or something horrible happened in my life, or there was a loss, and these songs and the comedy and the poignancy of everything can really touch people in ways that sometimes we don't even realize, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And I bet you hear that sometimes from people. You didn't expect it. Yeah,
absolutely. That happens quite often. But this is the thing, you don't know most of it. It's a bit like you talk about broadcasting to a. This is what's so great. You're getting comments and things back right now, but as a broadcaster, generally you're talking to a camera, you're talking to an empty space, aren't you? So
yeah. Unless you have a studio audience or a radio show where people are calling in, but generally, if they're doing like a news anchor is just delivering the news without that feedback, and because I've done a lot of shows on television and radio, hosting and stage work, I really love to play off the energy of an audience and viewers. Plus, I'm very conscious, like I know you are as well, you pay heed to those who support, they view, they watch, they consume. I'm very conscious of the fact that these folks are here giving of their time, watching and enjoying when there's a billion other things out there they could be doing. So I've always been very conscious of making sure that I, acknowledge them, and not just acknowledge them, but also make them feel, or give them not make them, but give them a place that they feel like they're a part of, like they're invested in the show, the growth of the show, what happens on the show, through their comments, through their levity, and they feel like they're actually part of you and me and what's happening here, like it's a big community. And I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's been lovely to see these comments. I mean, there's a lot more in the side that I can't see, but you're copying out a few in big type so that I can read them. Yeah.
It's all fantastic. And Rena Puckett, LOL, love it. And look at it from Merlin. You got every emoji she can basically fit on the screen there, including hearts and everything that she could possibly type without getting carpal tunnel syndrome. Sherry Showing Line says, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I came home and turned the Jim Master Show on. Made my whole night. That's what we want. And Brett's channel smashed the love button. Fantastic. June Rachelson Aspa, another dear friend, lyricist in New York City. It was wonderful. Just able to stop by. That's fantastic. And so you saw Daniel's show live. Yeah. So they saw your show in New York. Wow. That's fantastic. Platform gives you all instant feedback. Brett likes to sing. That's fantastic. Do you find comedy and poignancy are just two sides of the same coin?
Yeah, it's funny though, because I read poignancy as pregnancy. So it seemed like
from the professor.
It sounded like an odd question. Do you find comedy and pregnancy two sides of the same coin?
They can. Yeah. This has been a very funny evening. Looking forward to all the other stories.
Well,
when he comes back, and you're always welcome to come back, of course. But I hope did you write down that you're going to not start with the first half of the stories? You're going to start with the second half.
Yeah. There'll be the trouble is there'll be the second half of the stories that we didn't even start on this one. We'll just need to carry on doing this forever. Yeah. Anyway.
What's that to Michael Jackson's? Must be starting something. Must be starting something. You make everyone feel so welcome. It is awesome. Thank you. I'm glad you feel that way. Love it, love it. We'd love to see one of your live shows.
Yeah, well, you can see me sort of live next week. This is if you wish to, find me, contact
Brett
me.
likes to sing Christian music.
Christian music, Jewish music, music.
It's all lovity. That's right. Absolutely. All music schmusic. That's it. That's it. Well, I tell you, this was fantastic. Really, really terrific. And again, lots of love coming in from everybody around the world. But the bottom line is really, everybody coming together, having a good time, and us really, getting an understanding and a sense of, why you do what you do. And that's, you do it because you love it. You do it because it's a passion. I mean, what inspires you
certainly
each
not
day?
for the money.
Not for the money, right? Not for the money, but for the love of
Yeah, because
life.
and because I do love it, but
Yeah.
and I have. It's almost there isn't a choice. There isn't a choice.
I've said that often, and I've heard others say that, and that's a really cool statement. There isn't a choice. You know that this is your calling. This is what you were placed here to do. This is something that drives you. If you went into work in an accounting office, you'd be thinking of material. You'd be seeing what goes on in the office and writing comedy skits, and you'd be writing stories and thinking of tunes. And while you're trying to put in data into the computer, it's something that's born and bred in you, and that you have to express, and you're really doing it beautifully.
Thank you.
You really are. You really are. Yeah, it's cool stuff. It really is. God is good. First book, half of the stories. Second book, the second part of the stories. Would you ever do a book, autobiography, memoir, anything about all of your experiences, stories?
Well, so many of them are already written in song. But I have thought about that actually.
Yeah.
It would have been a great lockdown project, wouldn't it? But I didn't write my novel. I didn't write my book. I didn't write my musical. I didn't this. I didn't that. But I thought about it.
Mm. Yeah. Well, still, there's time. I mean, there's time.
Well,
there's definitely time.
We assume there's time. Yeah.
Yeah. No day is promised. Is there any plan for anything, or you're just waiting to see what's happening with pandemic and all of this to see when you can plan gigs?
Yeah.
Like you said, you were supposed to be doing gigs now. You're supposed to be here, there, and everywhere. It's all on hold until you see what happens, right?
Yeah. So it's online for now. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. Brett's has a question. What is your question, Brett's? Let us know. Type the question in, and we'll see if we can possibly answer it. We don't have tomorrow's winning lottery numbers, or at least I know I don't. What's the meaning of it all? I've been trying to figure that out. Do you know what the meaning of all of this is?
I don't. No.
I like the way you said that.
Can we?
No.
Yeah, it was kind of maybe.
This is cool. Daniel, thanks for your time and sharing your musical talents and stories with us. You will have to be a guest again. See, it's already determined. The viewers determined it. We don't have to obviously go this long. We can make it short. We can condense. There won't be other. It'll just be yes, Jim. Yes, Jim.
I'm gonna do next time I come on. I will just do one word answers to your question.
One word answers and the one note samba to finish your. And your songs. Thanks for giving us laughter as well. You'd like to sing and be interviewed. Where are you located? Brett's channel. You're watching on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. Let us know where you're located, and maybe we can welcome you to the show as well. Everybody is welcome, and that's cool. Post a message there on YouTube, and Jen is Zen, which is really, really good. And now that you're so like wired, will you be up for a while, or the minute we end, are you going to go?
I was thinking if this if this carries on much longer, you will see me fall asleep on screen right now. It's going like that.
You know
I
what?
must go get my pillow.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
We're not going to let you go. We're going to have you do that, and this will go viral as a result of you
Yes,
falling
that's
asleep
right.
live
Yeah.
on
Entertainer falls asleep on. In which case, if we're going to do that,
Indiana.
can I go and get a pillow? For
Yeah, right. My pillow, right? Indiana. Okay, that's great. Brett's channel. Send us a message. If you want to send a message, you can send it to jimmasterstv@gmail.com. That's jimmasterstv@gmail.com. That is the show's email if you want to pop on as a guest. But, and I thank you for that, Brett. You know, you're amazing, multi-talented. You're a good guy with a good heart.
Oh, I'm waking up now.
You're a nice, oh, yeah, good guy, good heart. You're like, oh, more. Maybe we should continue, Jim.
Yeah.
Oh, well, June does have an idea.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. My response too.
You could just leave it at
Yeah. Woo woo. Yeah.
She's been asking you this, and I guess we have to answer it because you did answer her ocean and mountain question. Favorite food? She loves Alaskan king crab, melted butter and salt. How about you?
Do I have a favorite food? I love all Indian food, actually. That's I am. Sorry, I just see the professor. The professor's got is plugging his album.
That'll be $50, Professor, in U.S. dollars.
Yes, that's my favourite food. Is Indian veg. I'm vegetarian, lifelong vegetarian.
Oh yeah, lifelong. You mean
since birth.
So your mother and your parents.
Yeah, my parents are vegetarian. Well, my father. My mother was, and actually, I think she and her father was vegetarian. So I'm actually third generation vegetarian, which is quite unusual.
Yeah,
Which explains why I'm such a fine, svelte figure of a man. And yes, but I love vegetarian Indian food is my fave.
That's fantastic. Well, I tell you, my friend, this we don't want to keep you too much longer because it is late into the wee hours of the evening there for you, and we appreciate really all of the time and all of the expressions of incredible talent, and you've been very gracious and everybody, I'm just still looking at comments here, everybody has thoroughly enjoyed your time and your talent and your wit, and I knew it was going to be a fantastic show, and you truly are welcome back anytime, and I really hope the show met whatever expectations you had.
It's been great fun. Thank you very much for having me on. Thank you.
I thoroughly enjoyed having you here. Really cool guy and authentic and straight shooter, and I love the comedy. I love the comedic element to what you do. And when things are better, I hope to come see you and see you in action and do your thing.
Great, please do. Let's yeah. If they ever let me back into your country again, and vice versa.
I'll tell you on November 4th. November 3rd is election day.
Yeah.
So you'll know then.
I got that, yeah.
Anything happens. Anything goes.
Same to you, Larry.
There you go. It's a date when pandemic is over. Indian food, yes.
Okay.
Cool choice.
All
you
right.
got it. Good stuff. And if you ever need an MC to intro you on stage, just ring me up. Ring me up. I do that kind of stuff too.
Sure. Great.
Good stuff. Lots of crack. All right, my friend. You take care. Thanks for everything. It was a true pleasure, and I hope you enjoyed your time with me as much as I have with you.
Absolutely. No, lovely to hang out with you, and all the levities. Thank you all so much. Great.
Yeah, you've definitely been indoctrinated into the levity hall here on the show, my friend. You take care. Have a good night.
All right. Good
and
night,
again,
everybody.
Thanks for all the time. We really appreciate it, Daniel.
Okay. Good night.
Bye-bye now. Cheers. Really amazing. Lots of fun, lots of levity, good conversation. Got a chance to learn about his life, his experiences, and awesome stuff. Really, really awesome stuff. And thanks for all the great comments, everybody. Daniel saw them all. We try to make sure the guest sees it all as much as possible. Obviously, we can't get to every single comment, though we try. So hopefully, nobody's feelings are hurt if we don't get to your comment. Because, we try to get to as many comments as possible, and not every show shows all the comments. Some shows don't even show any comments. They just go, oh, there's Betty. Hey, there's Tom. Hey, there's Steve. Yeah, good to see you, Ralph. Good to see you, Bobby. Good to see you, Susie. But they don't necessarily always show the comments on the screen. So it's sometimes tough to keep up because there's so many, especially, when we have such a fun night like this. Lots of great comments. So we try to show as many as we can, but not always able to get all of them. So we try to be fair and equitable so nobody's feelings are hurt, as they shouldn't be, because we're having a good time here. Fun-filled evening. Like to see you laugh. Good night. Night. Thank you, Daniel. All cool stuff. All right. This was great. This was great. We really appreciate it. And again, you see his name right there. Just add the .com. DanielCanier.com is his website. Fabulous music, great comedy, great wit and wisdom, interesting perspective on life. And you know what I love? I love conversations like that because it was like a phenomenal tennis match where we both won. And what I mean is just we played off each other as if we knew each other for 25 years. And he and I just met now. It's the first time that we've had conversation and had it live worldwide in front of a fabulous audience. And it was as if we knew each other for 25 years. And, and that's a blessing. That doesn't always happen with conversations in life, and it doesn't always happen with guests, but it certainly happened here tonight. He really is terrific, and I loved it, and a really great show. What a week of shows we've been having. Amazing guests, great comedy, great deep conversation, all the things that we want, from this entertainment lifestyle talk show series, where we talk about serious stuff, but we also have a lot of levity, and there's nothing too constrained. You know what I mean? It's got its structure and formatics as a show, but it's nothing that's locked in. It's whatever it is. Want to let you know that we have an amazing guest tomorrow night. I'm so excited. Thank you very much, Francis. I appreciate that. Did an outstanding, Jim Masters. Thank you, Francis. We appreciate that. We love that. Have a great night, Jim. Good night, all. Thank you very much, Kathleen. And I'm glad that this put a smile on your face as well. It's all good when you can get to questions. Absolutely. Oh, that's terrific. And you're Brett's channel right there. Brett's channel on YouTube. That's fantastic. So I'll check that out. Be sure and subscribe to my channel there on YouTube, Jim Masters TV, and we'll check your channel out as well, Brett. Love seeing you crack up. Yeah, I love laughing. I always love laughing. You gotta laugh. Love the show, Jim. Laughed a lot. That's perfect. Good stuff. You never know what happens on the Jim Masters show live, right? We work very hard to build this show and put this show together. 19 weeks, almost 150 episodes every single night. And I balance this with all my professional work during the daytime. This week I've been hosting 10 on-air radio shows in my professional work and then writing scripts for upcoming TV shoots. Nice seeing you laughing with your guests and the Crystal Turtle. And another good show. Have a good night, Jim Masters. Thank you very much. Oh, good, you did. Okay, great. You subscribed to the channel a long time ago. That's fantastic. Thank you. We appreciate that. So we're going to check your channel out as well. And Carla talks about the turtle, that crystal turtle in the back there that's on set that I brought front and center once. And there it is. There it is. We moved it over there, Carla, so you can see it. Usually we got all the candles lit, but not tonight. Want to show you tomorrow night's guest. She's so excited to be here tomorrow. multi-instrumentalist, award-winning fiddler Lacey Carpenter is here tomorrow. Don't miss it. She is amazing. She's also going to be performing live for us tomorrow. That's right. Lacey Carpenter is our special guest, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live here on the Jim Masters Show exclusively. She is brilliant. Again, she's a multi-instrumentalist. She's an award-winning performer. She's garnered lots of accolades. She's very, she's just warm and affable and funny, and she's super talented. We are so excited to have her here. And we just met each other, really. Just, we started conversing. She found out about the show. She watched the show. She loves our series. And then she and I chatted about her coming on as a guest, and that's what happens. The guests are coming from friends of mine who get the guests. Some of them are my own celebrity friends that are coming on, or colleagues, people I've interviewed on television or radio. Some of them are people who are watching our show who want to come on the show, like these fine gentlemen, legends in the music industry, the voices of classic soul, are going to be here on September 24th, which happens to be my birthday. These guys, oh yeah, you've heard them before. The legends from the Temptations, the Drifters, the Platters, and the Four Tops. That's right. These are music legends, and they're going to be here actually on my birthday, which is September 24th. Can't wait. I was just chatting with them today and with their reps. They're all excited. They're promoting it everywhere. And they happened to see my show. There was another guest that was on who's friends with them. They checked out our show. They love the show. They love the vibe. They like this whole series on the Jim Master Show. And they said they want to pop on. So that's really cool. They're going to be here on the 24th, Thursday. It's going to be a whole birthday celebration show. We're really, really looking forward to that. That's going to be exciting. And again, these fine gentlemen, you know them from the Temptations, Platters, Drifters, and Four Tops. They're going to be here on September 24th. Very, very excited about that. On Friday, an amazing guest. This is Arnie Burton. Arnie is going to be here live on Friday. He's an award-winning actor. You're going to love him. He's all excited. He's going to be here. And then just announced Saturday, wonderful crooner and jazz singer. Yes, the Latin sensation, Ramiro Tejada. Ramiro Tejada is going to be my special guest. He's all excited. This Saturday night, Ramiro Tejada is going to be here. He and I have been chatting. He's also been watching the show and asked if he can pop on, and I invited him, and he's going to be here Saturday night. Great night of music. And then on Sunday, we're going to do a special show on Sunday at a special time. We're going to do an afternoon show, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. And it's a food festival host chat show. So those of you who want to participate, email us, if you can, some of your food pictures, maybe creations that you're making, desserts, dinners, whatever it is, lunch, breakfast, could be anything. Email us your food pictures. And if you want to share some recipes, we're going to do a very special food festival host chat episode this Sunday. That is at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. So our show time is going to be a little bit different this Sunday. We're going to do a late morning, early afternoon show at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. And that's going to be terrific. And it's going to be a food festival host chat all about some of our favorite foods and so much more. I'll have foods here on set. You guys can email some food pictures. And if you get them to us by midnight Saturday night, we can include them. We'll have enough time to include them in our show on Sunday. And you can send those to jimmasterstv@gmail.com. That's jimmasterstv@gmail.com. That is the show's email address. Send us some of your food pictures, past or present. They don't have to be something you cooked this week. It could be past or present. And we're going to have a special foodie festival show, host chat foodie festival show on Sunday. Again, look for us on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific for that special, special show. And again, we welcome once again our fantastic guest, really, really terrific guy, really amazing, Daniel Canier, really talented, very funny, poignant stories, and so much more. And terrific guest. We really enjoyed having him here on the show, and I know you guys enjoyed him as well. So check out his website, danielcanier.com, to learn more about his wonderful material. We will welcome him back. It'll be a pleasure to have him back on the show. And lots of levity, lots of crack tonight, lots of comments coming in. I see a menu for the weekend. Goodness. Oh, yes. Terrific. Email some of your fantastic Latin goodies to jimmasterstv@gmail.com. If you join us at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, Sunday, we can show them on camera. Kathy, that all sounds wonderful. Yeah. Busy week of guests. Night, night. See you all tomorrow night. Good night, Jim and Lovelies from Maryland in Wichita. Can't wait. Yes, June. Same here. Yes. Good stuff. Good stuff. Another wonderful show. Thank you, Jim. Have a great night. Made it on the butterfly video. Okay, we're going to have to check that out. That sounds really, really great. 6 more days of summer. 6 more days until the fall equinox. That's right. I was born in basically the fall. Hi, Jim. Tiffany Lauren, the brilliant fiddler, violinist. I'm so happy to see you on tonight. Looking forward to tomorrow. My fiddle friend Lacey will be on. Yes, Lacey is amazing. We love her. And we're excited to have her on. And you were a guest on our show as well. If you want to see when Tiffany was a guest on the show, we're dear friends. We've performed at Carnegie Hall together, IMC, and she performed and different things like that. Or lots of our friends have as well. Good to see you here, Tiffany. She's in Chicago. Looking forward to it. Kathleen, absolutely. A great lineup throughout the weekend. Voices of Classic Soul, Birthday in 8 Days, Countdown. Look forward to Sunday's Foodie Festival show. Terrific evening with Daniel. You got it. I agree 100%. And couldn't do it without all of you. So we thank you for being with us, everybody. Oh, the butterfly. Okay, yes. The butterfly video. What he's talking about is there's a video that we posted on the YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. And it's not under the Jim Masters Show Live. It's under Masters Mantras. Masters Mantras, if you know, I've been doing these Masters Mantras, hashtag Masters Mantras, which are these positive comments on Facebook, on my Facebook page for years at Jim Masters TV. And we also have made some videos. And they are positive videos that are on the Jim Masters TV YouTube channel. And the recent one is this really cool shot of this butterfly that landed on one of our zinnias, and he opened his wings and he actually posed for the camera. So we're slowly creeping in and we're staying still. Nobody's breathing. We're holding our breath because this incredible, it's like a monarch butterfly, opened its wings, spread its wings, and sat there and posed for about 30 or 60 seconds for us. Just long enough to get a good shot of it with the bright sun and everything, and then flew off into oblivion. Really, really cool. Thanks for your comment on that on our YouTube channel. Yes, we will. We'll definitely do that. You know, we do this at the end of every show, folks. Don't forget to relax, to breathe, to take care of one another, love one another, be good to one another, breathe from the diaphragm. Not every day is going to be perfect, but make the most of every day as best as you can. Good to see everybody. We toast everybody. We welcome you. If you're new to our show, we're here every night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And boy, do we give you lots of entertainment value. You learn something new every day on our show. I learn something new. And it's so wonderful to see all of you and to acknowledge all of you as well. Can't always get to every message to show visibly because there's so many, but we try to. Sometimes I don't see the messages until later when I watch the show again, or I see them on Facebook or what have you, because sometimes the messages go by so fast, I don't even see them because they go by fast. I'm like, wow, that person posted that? Oh, I missed that. Oh, I wish we could have shown that, because there's so many and they go by so quickly. So we see you there. We love all of you, and thank you for all your love and support. The butterfly, beautiful butterfly close-up video of the orange zinnia with the orange butterfly. That's the one. You got it. Good night, everyone. Francis, and you as well, Kathy. Short, thanks for another fantastic show. See you tomorrow. That's what we love to hear. We toast to all of you. We love all of you. We thank you for the time and attention, and we thank our great guest, Daniel Canier, for his time and attention as well. Late night there in London, so we really appreciate all of his time. Good night to you as well, Francis. This is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time till next time. We will be here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We hope you are here as well. As we always say, put a smile on your face, put a smile on somebody else's face, and that's a great thing to have happen for each of you. Don't forget, levity is what it's all about. That just happened to be created by accident here on the show. Levity just is something that happened, and now everybody loves it, and that's what it is. And find your Zen place. Daniel said he loves the ocean. I love the ocean as well. Jen loves her mountains. Wherever it is, life is short. Find your Zen place. We love our friends at LMG, Lamkin Music Group. We thank them for all of their love and attention and support. They love our show. We love them as well. We thank them very, very much as well. And we thank all of you for joining us with our very extended goodbyes all the time. Daniel would say this is a Jewish goodbye. It goes on and we say goodbye, but we can't hug. Good night. See you all tomorrow. Good night, Jim and Levities. Perfectly said. All right. If Jennifer Barry is still watching, she's going to get excited because the Jim Masters Singers and Orchestra are all queued up. They're all queued up, right? Okay, they're all queued up, and they're going to play the outro music that Jen dances to every time. The intro music to our show, the outro music to our show. Jennifer Barry becomes extra zen when it plays, and she tells us all the time. She gets up out of her chair or off the couch, wherever she is, and she starts dancing to the theme with our Jim Masters Singers and Orchestra, who aren't really singing. They're more oohing and ahhing during the... Yep, I knew it. You're ready. You're all queued up. Good night, my friend Ralph. Good night, Kathleen. And Jennifer, you're ready to go to dance to the Jim Masters Show theme music. Hit it. Yes, ma'am. Okay, we will. Cue that music, orchestra and singers. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. I love you all, and we'll be back 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. That's a wrap. We have no words left to say other than good night.